This is an Odyssey Sports Minute.
Look, the NFC South is always a beautiful disaster, but this year the Tampa Bay Buccaneers take it. Yes, they had a brutal second half collapse last season, but a healthy Baker Mayfield combined with Zach Robinson's offense is the safest bet in the division. Toss in rookie pass rusher Reuben Bain Jr. disrupting the backfield, and the Bucs have the stability the rest of this division desperately needs. I'm Maddie Bates.
Talk sports with Craig Carton and Chris McMonagle on The Carton Show. Afternoons from 2 to 7 on WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1 New York, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Sports Radio 101.9 FM, The Fan, WFAN.
Oh, that's right. Anthony Gallo on The Fan on this Memorial Day morning. We got a lot to get to. 888-808-1019 is the number to call. We're coming to you live from the Built Ford Tough Studios. Also, that Odyssey Sports Minute was brought to you by your local Ford stores. We got a lot to get to this Monday. The Knicks, one win from the NBA Finals for the first time in over 2 decades. But we don't start there. We will get to that and the exciting, the feel, the buzz that is surrounding the city right now. But we have to start with the 2 baseball teams in this town. 2 baseball teams heading in drastically different directions. 2 baseball teams that one team loses a game, even with them being 10-plus games over 500. Well, 9 games over 500, but for the majority of the season being 10 games over 500 and sitting fully entrenched in a playoff spot, and that is the Yankees. They lose one game and their fans are ready to blow it up, or they're out here calling for the GM's job, and they win an exciting one. They grind it out against the only team that is competition in their league on an exciting walk-off. And the Mets, the $300 million mess that is the Mets, cannot muster off more than a run, a game. And sometimes asking for them to score a run in back-to-back games is asking for too much. And I don't want to hear about Juan Soto not being there. And I don't want to hear about what guy they're missing because everyone in the league is banged up. Everyone in the league is getting contributions from their biggest stars. And it's not like Juan Soto has been that impactful. Yes, it's not his fault that guys aren't on in front of him, but he can't come up with a big hit. Bo Bichette can't string together a week of good baseball. Freddie Peralta has been maybe, it's an argument because, you have guys like Bo Bichette and the entire team is a disappointment. Freddie Peralta might be the most disappointing pitcher in all of Major League Baseball. And sure, he grinds out a 7-inning start on Saturday, but it is not a good start when your team needs a good start. But it didn't matter because even if he gave you a good start like Christian Scott did yesterday, the Mets will just fumble that away. And where Yankee fans are trying to pick apart where they need to attack roster building at the trade deadline, Met fans are just wondering if in a week they're even going to care about the baseball season. There's only the distraction for us Mets fans of the Knicks for so long. And that'll be great. We get another 2 weeks of Knicks basketball, hopefully. And they, let's say, hopefully reach the mountaintop and get a win and win the title. That is only going to mask this disappointment that is the Mets. A massive disappointment. It is early. A massive disappointment that is the Mets. And they are lining up for what last year was the biggest embarrassment, the biggest choke job this franchise has ever seen, and that's saying something. This year will just be the biggest utter disaster maybe in the history of New York sports. $300 million. The majority of that tied into your lineup that can't muster a run. The worst lineup in baseball. The worst lineup at hitting fastballs. The one thing a team should be able to do no matter how bad they are. And the spark, the little fun that we had from A.J. Ewing getting called up is gone. And now you're shoving the first-year player that doesn't even have a month of baseball underneath his belt into the 3-hole in the lineup, this has been a disaster. And what we'll get is on Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll get a smiling, a grinning David Stearns, getting, antsy and sassy with the media as they press him on whether it's the manager's job security or on the disaster that has been his roster. Because it's all the guys he brought in that has been a disaster. Juan Soto is not enough to mask what has been now 2 years of terrible moves after terrible moves. And the one guy you kind of turn in a corner on, or I guess two guys with Luke Weaver and Devin Williams, he goes out there and can't throw a strike. And when he does, it gets hit 400 feet to end the game. And they're not just losing. They're losing lifelessly. They're losing with no fight. They embarrass themselves night in and night out. And when they do one good thing right, they do 5 bad things. And at some point, it's got to change. I know the owner cares. And that's not an excuse. It doesn't mean that he gets a pass because he cares or he's trying his best. Yeah, what he does off the field as far as the game day experience and investing in analytics and player development, I can't complain about. He's invested in the roster. But at some point, people have to be held accountable. And they're not going to fire the GM right now, and I'm not sure that changes anything if you do. And I do like Mendoza, but, Mendoza has made mistakes in the last week that have puzzled me. And at some point, something has to spark this team. The Phillies aren't perfect. They are still a game under 500. But they have had a drastic turnaround after firing their manager and bringing in Don Mattingly. But yet the Mets sit on their hands. They give you nothing. They tell you nothing. And the manager keeps his job. And I'm not putting it all on him, but that's the first step to trying to change this thing because you can't get rid of the players. They don't have the balls to get rid of the players. Cohen doesn't want to waste the money to get rid of the players. You're not going to eat Senga's contract and Manaya's contract and Polanco's contract. And they just signed Polanco, so obviously they're not going to do that. But you're not going to eat these guys' contracts to try and change something. So what do you have to do? Fire the manager. And I hate calling for somebody's job, but something has to give. This is an embarrassment. Your star player looks like he could care less about what happens. All this talk about the Mets being the winning organization, and that's where he wanted to be. Well, there hasn't been a lot of winning that's followed him. And I've heard the excuses. It's early, and they're banged up. Well, you know what? They may never get healthy. And it's going to get late quick. And this has been a disaster. And it's funny because I have to get texted, and we're laughing with my friends in a group chat that are Met fans. Hey, they're only 7 games back in the wild card. I don't want to look at the standings in May. I want to just watch baseball night in and night out and see competent baseball, and I'll start to really care about the standings in July. But when you're this bad, you have to talk yourself into the insanity that is believing that the season's not over. Because the season's over. David Stearns has butchered this as bad as you could. The star players that have come in here have been a disaster. And I don't care what numbers Juan Soto gets to. It's not good enough. At some point, you want to be the big dog. Be the big dog. Because for all the complaints we have about Lindor, even in his struggles, he steps up and is a face to the franchise. And it's not good enough from him either. He's hurt right now, so we're not complaining about him. But when he's starting slow, that's not good enough either. But at least he faces the music and doesn't give us, nothing when he talks to the media. Bo Bichette has been a disaster. And guess what? That contract's going to look like a disaster when he opts in. My biggest fear when signing him, because I wasn't entirely all excited, I thought it was cool. It felt like a pivot to appease the fan base. It felt like a pivot to quiet the storm that was losing Diaz and Alonso and Nimmo. But I always thought that, all right, if he plays to his ability and his potential, he'll opt out. And then, you know what? We'll either re-sign him or it's not our problem. The other fear and I feel like every Met fan probably had this fear, was he plays like garbage and then opts into a massive contract. So next year, if there's a next year in baseball, we're now eating up a major part of our salary to appease and sign a bad third baseman who was supposed to hit and can't hit. A guy who sits there and fouls off every good pitch and then lazily grounds out to the second baseman every night. Oh, he had 3 good games where he hit a few home runs against the Nationals. Whoop-de-doo. Polanco's been a disaster, and he's been hurt. When Luis Roberts wasn't hurt, he was a disaster. Luke Weaver and Devin Williams have been inconsistent, and it doesn't matter. Having a back end of a bullpen that's good when the rest of the team sucks is stupid. Freddie Peralta, disaster. Every single guy that David Stearns touch is crap. Everything he's done has been a disaster. And it's frustrating. Because it's funny, like, you go through the Knicks playoff run, which obviously it's a shared common fandom for those Mets and Yankee fans that care about the NBA. But it's drastically different watch. So Yankee fans are going from winning Yankees baseball to the Knicks making a finals run. For me, it's either the Mets leading into, with a disappointing loss, an exciting Knicks game, or killing the vibes of what has been an exciting Knicks run with a disastrous loss. Game 1 or game 2? The Mets go up big. Nolan McLean's on the mound. Another disappointment, by the way, and I don't want to hear anything else about it. We wanted to anoint him. Some of you wanted to anoint him just as good as Paul Skeens when he's looked like a number 3 overall pitcher. But we have a 5-run lead, and I'm thinking, I could actually, focus on the Knicks game, and I don't have to really watch the Met game. And before I can even flip the channel, they're giving up an inside-the-park grand slam. Not just a grand slam, an inside-the-park grand slam. This Mets team, and I feel like I've said this my whole life, and it's always true, this Mets team is finding new and excruciating ways to lose. And when it's not excruciating, it's lifeless, it's heartless, it's gutless. It's embarrassing. And it starts from the top down. And Stearns, there's not much Stearns is going to say to make us feel better, but accountability will go a long way in the future because it doesn't feel like they're moving on from David Stearns anytime soon. It feels like we're going to be trapped, kidnapped as Mets fans, as an organization by David Stearns for at least another year. But David Stearns could go a long way by being accountable. Because if you're not going to fire the manager, take the blame. Because the blame is on him. Yes, you could say, it's on the players, but he's the one who brought the players in. When the Mets went on that run in 2024, our first praise was for the manager, for the GM. Even though the guys that were carrying that team, Lindor, Nimmo, Alonso, Diaz. Yes, Minaya was great that year. But the main cogs on that team were here pre-David Stearns. But he could come out there and take the blame and say it is an organizational failure, and this organization starts with me. This is my fault. But he won't do that. What he'll do is he'll tiptoe around it and say, yes, it's been an organizational failure. He won't give a glowing support of Mendoza. He'll give you platitudes, but it won't be a glowing support of Mendoza. And then he'll walk around the questions, and he'll tell you, sure, like, we still think we're good enough to compete. How long are you going to tell us that? Until you're mathematically eliminated, which might be at the end of July. That's how bad this team is. It's not that the Mets are just going to miss the playoffs with the highest payroll in baseball. It's that the Mets are going to lose close to 100 games with the highest payroll in baseball. It's an embarrassment. It might be the biggest embarrassment in baseball history. It might be the biggest embarrassment in New York City sports history. And there are a lot of them between the Jets, the Knicks, the Mets, at times the Rangers. There are a lot of embarrassments. And this is lining up to be another one of those, maybe the worst. It's unacceptable. And then I sit here, and it's ironic because I listen to Yankee fans, And I wish I was in their shoes where they could complain and be hard on their team while still winning, while still looking like one of the 3 best teams in baseball, while still looking like maybe the best team in the American League. And they've battled injuries. They lost an ace and just got their ace, their key ace back. They started the year with 2 of their best pitchers on the IL. Stanton hasn't been healthy. Their young players at times have been banged up. But that's not an excuse. They're going out there and competing. Their star player, he hasn't been as bad as the Mets star players, but Aaron Judge hasn't been perfect to start the year. But he has 17 homers. He hasn't even kicked it in overdrive. And look at where they are. And Yankee fans are over here crying. Listen, they are a little delusional at times, but that's the expectation set by that organization. And we're over here trying to talk ourselves into a baseball season. They're World Series contenders. The Mets are going to start planning their winter vacations in a week. It feels like some of the players already have. And that's the other thing that bothers me about this team. As we go along and try to navigate the baseball season, and we live and die with every pitch, with every game, I don't get the vibes that a lot of these guys on this team actually care. Why would Bo Bichette care? He only came to the Mets because at the last moment, they panicked and offered him a major contract, so he left Philly. And now we're stuck with him. Juan Soto hits a couple of home runs, and he's happy. He doesn't care if they win or lose. I'm sure in some sense, they all want to win, but it doesn't look like it's eating away at them. The young guys are the only ones I really feel like are out here grinding. Like, I know Morabito, I made a couple of mistakes in his opener, but, the way he was playing, there was a clear effort and intensity he was trying to play with. The young outfielders are trying. It's gotten to the point that I'm just watching out of habit. I'm not watching out of belief. Even when I was younger with some of these terrible Mets teams, I'd watch and I'd tell myself, you know what? They string a good week together. There might be a season. I'm back in that mode of just asking for, get us to September, get us to football season where, we're playing competitive baseball where I can lie to myself and say, hey, they got a shot on the wild card. They're not even doing that. It's an embarrassment. And the other feeling about it is, and this doesn't excuse David Stearns, it doesn't feel like anything they would have did differently would have mattered. Alonso hasn't been good. Diaz is hurt. Might be dealing with a whole other thing with the cockfighting. The guys they traded for Peralta, they weren't saving the season. Brandon Nimmo's been fine. I mean, Jeff McNeil's kicking old guys in the head, diving in the stands. It's not like the season was going to be terrible no matter what. At least there were players we could believe in. Outside of Lindor, I'm not really attached to Vientos or Beatty. Outside of Lindor, with Alvarez hurt, the young guys are young. They just got here. Who are you attached to on this team that you actually care about? I don't care about Juan Soto. He's been here for a year and a half, and he feels like a mercenary. A guy with 10 years feels like a mercenary. Bo Bichette's going to be gone, or we're going to be stuck with him and hate him. Simeon's been fine. I wasn't expecting him to carry the offense. He's the only guy who hits with runners at scoring position. Him and Vientos. But I'm not attached to Vientos and Beatty. That's just what-ifs. That's what they are. Giant question marks playing the field. So not only do you feel lifeless baseball every night, you're watching lifeless baseball every night, but who do you root for? Because you're not attached to these guys. You're not grinding through it. At least when it was Lindor, Alonso, and this does not excuse their shortcomings, but at least there was an attachment there. With the Knicks, it's something I dealt with the Knicks my entire life up until the last few years, where they didn't have anyone who would stay with the team longer than a year or two. Mitchell Robinson is an anomaly. But then you grow attached to guys, and Deuce McBride and Mitch as guys who are like homegrown and here. And you look at obviously different circumstance because it feels like Josh Hart and Brunson are homegrown, even though they're not. But the Mets are just a bunch of guys collecting a paycheck, not caring. I think a guy like Devin Williams actually cares. That's the worst part about it, is he stinks and he actually cares. And he was good at times, but then yesterday is unacceptable. When you're a star player, and he's paid like a star, so I'm going to call him that, even though he's not, you got to pick your team up. Nobody's picking anybody up on this team. We got young guys out here diving and putting their bodies on the line. Otherwise, no one's out here. Luis Torrens and Tyrone Taylor, that's who we have to believe in because they look like they care, even though they stink. It's a disaster. This Mets team is a disaster, and no one's being held accountable for it. And we're just sitting in limbo. And we'll get another, generic press conference from that dork, David Stearns, who's not going to tell us anything. And he's going to get testy with the media when they press him on stuff, which doesn't really even press him. Outside of Joel Sherman, the last press conference he had, no one wanted to even push back on the guy. And the one guy who did, he got testy with. It's embarrassing. And it is really lining up in my 34 years of life to being the worst, most disappointing, disastrous Mets season ever. And I've lived through some terrible ones. Last year was the biggest embarrassment in the franchise's history. This is a whole nother level on that. 888-808-1019, kicking us off. James in North Arlington. What's going on, James?
Happy Memorial Day, and thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for calling, bud.
Yes. I think they need a new general manager. We could talk about the coach, but if you're looking around the country and in other sports, look at the Vegas Knights. They fired their coach with 8 games to go, and I know it's the coach they fired, but still, it changed the whole season.
It did.
They're going to be in the Stanley Cup Finals. The Mets.
Look at the Phillies.
I don't know why. You need a new general manager.
They do.
Maybe you need both. Fire him tomorrow.
Well, and James, I appreciate the call, man. I don't know if they could just fire the general manager, though. You have to because the general manager, I don't see that I see that as you fire the manager, nothing changes, then you fire the GM. Does he deserve to be fired first? Yes. But you do have to look at it as they have to still try and save the season. But right now, it feels like a season that cannot be saved. We got a lot more to get into on the other side. We'll talk about there is a problem that the Mets are going to face themselves with. And you would say it's a good problem. I feel like this organization is going to botch it. It has to deal with players coming back and whose playing time is sacrificed. All that right here. Stay tuned. Anthony Gallo till 1 p.m.
From the 1010 Winds Traffic Center, Andre Ferro, InjuryLawyer.com, Fan Highway Patrol, presented by the Rothenberg Law Firm. Look out for a crash, southbound Cross Island in Queens, heading down towards Northern Boulevard. Go with the clear view. You'll do better. Northbound 95 in the Bronx, heading up towards Middletown Road and Country Club Road. There's a crash, so stick with the service road to get around that. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Around 10 minutes in at the Lincoln, Holland, and George, will take it eastbound as you travel on the BQE in Brooklyn, heading past Atlantic Avenue, approaching the Brooklyn Bridge. You do have some volume. Not much on Long Island's Big Three, but we do have the drone show tonight at Jones Beach. It starts at 6. The show actually starts at 9, but there's a pre-show at 6. Get down there early. Traffic sponsored by the Rothenberg Law Firm. You're injured in an accident, you need help? Rothenberg Law Firm, lawyers that have built a legacy of victory of over 5 decades, winning billions for their clients. The Rothenberg Law Firm. Call 1-800-624-8888 or visit them at InjuryLawyer.com. Andre Ferro, 1010 Wins with a Fan Highway Patrol.
Tune in for your chance to score a pair to see the Black Crowes at the Prudential Center on June 20th. Get your tickets now at BruceCenter.com. It's all from your friends at NJ Pack and the Fan.
Ford is here for those who build America. Those who believe that giving everything we've got today will pay off tomorrow. Who will drive America forward for 250 years to come. If that's who you are, you value what we value. Now offering employee pricing. American value for American values. Go to Ford.com or your local Ford dealer for more information.
Surfside iced tea and lemonade plus vodka is your go-to drink this golf season. It's light, refreshing, made with real vodka and zero bubbles. That's right, no carbonation. No bubbles, no troubles. Look for the new half and half variety pack featuring flavors like raspberry half and half in stores now. Cheers to hitting the fairway and cheers to Surfside. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
As a part of the North to Shore Festival. Don't miss 5-time Grammy-nominated Joe Bonamassa live in concert on June 28th at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center. Every show is a new experience with blues rock titan Joe Bonamassa. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Joe Bonamassa live in concert at NJ Pack on June 28th.
Welcome to 215 Maple Drive. We just put this property on the market.
Love the crown molding.
Oh, wait until you see the walk-in closets and the bathroom tile.
Does it have Verizon Fios? 100% fiber internet?
No Fios, but it looks like it's got cable. Let's check out the kitchen.
No Fios? Yeah, no thank you.
Don't you want to see the rest? Okay, bye-bye.
Get Verizon Fios, because when you're moving, it's 100% or nothing.
Empower. Ellie here is getting the sleeve she's always dreamed of. She worked with Empower and planned for her next move, so she got good at money. Now she can be a little bad. Oh, by the way, you spelled journey wrong. No worries. She can afford the cover-up, too. Ooh, check out my tat. It says, invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Recently, our company's softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Dale's a loser. I play to win, like early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later.
Sound familiar, Dale?
Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in New Jersey. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
Are you an adult with uncontrolled moderate to severe Crohn's disease symptoms and still packing a backup bag of clothes? Just in case? Skyrizi Risankizumab Riza can help you take control of your Crohn's. Feel significant symptom relief, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements at 4 weeks. Plus, Skyrizi is proven to help people achieve remission and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Individual results may vary. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's. Ready to take control of your Crohn's? Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's disease.
Control is everything to me.
Learn more at skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI.
What's up? It's Draymond Green. I'm back for my 14th NBA season, and my podcast, The Draymond Green Show, is back too. This season, I'm breaking down games, reacting to the biggest NBA stories, and sitting down with teammates, rivals, and culture shapers. And trust me, I'm not holding back, on the court or on the mic. 2 new episodes every week, new segments, big conversations, real basketball talk for the real hoop heads. Listen to and follow The Draymond Green Show wherever you get your podcasts. We're back, we're better. Let's get it.
For all station contest rules, go to WFAN.com/rules.
Hey, Boomer Esiason here. After years in the game, I don't guess. I go with what works. Red Pocket Mobile gives you 3 major 5G networks to choose from. Switching cities? Switch your network. That's like calling your own Audible. Visit redpocket.com to see why more Americans are switching to better wireless without paying more. Red Pocket Mobile, your new ultimate cell carrier.
Hi, this is John Starks. At John Starks Kia, we don't play games. No gimmicks, no tricks, no hidden fees, no surprises. Score our John Stark special this month. A Kia Sportage for just $333 a month with just $3 due at signing. That's right, all threes. It's my favorite number. What we say is what it is, period. See you at John Stark's Kia in Queens.
36-month lease excludes tax, title, and MV fees. No security deposit required. 10,000 miles per year. Expires June 1st.
Hey everyone, Boomer Esiason here. When I played football, running the offense meant everything had to be fast and flawless. Today I run my playbook on famously fast Optimum Fiber. I know I'll stay connected without interruptions. It certainly blows flaky 5G home internet out of the water. Right now they have a deal that's tough to beat. Only $25 a month for 5 years. Call 888-4OPTIMUM, visit Optimum.com, or stop by your local Optimum store today. It's famously fast fiber for just $25 a month for 5 years. Terms apply. See Optimum.com for details.
Brad Evans here to help you beat the Bulls with Westwood One Sports. Kenyon Sadiq could be a rookie freak this fall with the Jets. The tight end runs a 4.39 40-yard dash, owns an expansive route tree, and is a bruiser after the catch. Yes, Geno Smith, but the passer was top 10 in adjusted completion percentage last year. Give me the over, Sadiq. 475.5 receiving yards at -110. Bet smarter, beat the books. Download the BetMGM app today.
Talk New York sports here. The Fan.
Oh, coming to you live from the Built for Tough studio on this Memorial Day morning. Yes, I know, we are talking Mets, and we will pivot to the very exciting New York Knicks monumentous night ahead of us. One more win, and then they get sent to the NBA Finals. Coming in this morning, I had to rent a car this weekend. Just a lot going on this week. Going to see the mom in PA yesterday, and I figured I'd keep it a couple days with the holiday and everything. And not as somebody who doesn't have a car all the time. I parked last night. I live in Bay Ridge, and they do a big they do a great Memorial Day parade. But I parked by 3rd Ave. And this morning had the unfortunate aspect of seeing that the street is blocked off in front of me as I'm trying to get ready to leave and having to find somebody. I'm like, hey, just move the barricade for 2 seconds, please. I got to get to work. I got to take the lady to work. No days off in the Gallo household. And then that panic setting in, like, oh, my God. I promised her I'd take her to work, and then I got to get to work. And it all worked out. But as somebody who I don't envy people who have a car in New York City. I don't. I know I put a lot of faith in the MTA and the buses and trains, but it feels like every time I have a car, it's more hassle. Driving around for 2 hours last night trying to find parking. Disaster. But we're here because that's what we do. We show up. And how could I not want to be here on a glorious Memorial Day morning? Yes, it is one of those bittersweet holidays, remembering those that, gave their lives to, fight for our rights in this country. And obviously it's a beautiful holiday, but it's also a beautiful day because the Knicks are one game away from the NBA Finals. Before we get into that, though, I want to wrap up this Mets conversation. We'll get to the calls in a second, 888-808-1019. Yesterday that bothered me watching the Met game is, sure, and MJ Melendez gave us a few good games. There was a week where he was the only guy hitting. Great, awesome, whatever. This team sucks. Play the young kids. Whether Juan Soto's out or not, there's no reason why the 3 young guys in the outfield shouldn't be playing. There's no reason why Tyrone Taylor or MJ Melendez should be taking at-bats from Morabito or Ewing or Benj. And when Polanco comes back or Luis Robert comes back, and there hasn't really been an update on either of those guys. Polanco, I think he's taking live ABs now. But when he comes back, I don't want to see young players like that sacrificed for some bum that's going to be here for a year or two. And Luis Robert, there's even less of a window. There's still a chance he gets surgery and all that. But the Mets are in this situation. You want the fans to believe in something. It may not be winning. You want them to believe in something. Play the young kids. Play the young kids. I don't need to see overrated, overpaid role players taking at bats from potentially somebody. One of these three guys has to be good. So far, Benj and Ewing have been, I think, they've shown you something. Not that they're going to be stars, but that they might be good players. And I'd rather see more Abito than any of these other bums on the team. 888-808-1019, my guy, Tommy in Astoria. It's so good to hear from you, Tommy. What's up?
Gallo, how you doing? Good morning, brother. How you feeling, all right?
I feel great. How are you?
I'm good, man. So, first of all, congratulations on the impending nuptials. That's great of me.
Thank you, my man. I appreciate that. I appreciate you.
It's when are we looking at? Is it soon or the next year? Or?
We haven't. I mean, probably in the next year, 15 months, but we haven't gotten that far yet. I'm trying to breathe a little bit. We got home from the nice weekend, and she's already throwing questions at me, and I'm like, I don't know. I've never gotten married before. Engagement. When do we do the engagement party? What about this? What about that? I'm like, all right, we're gonna get there. I promise you, we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
Let's breathe.
Word of advice. It's a word of advice. I've been married 22 years. I've been through all this. Just go with it, enjoy it. Don't get stressed, and whatever you do, just don't fight about it. Just,
yeah. We are good. We are a good team.
And don't do like a lot of guys that like they just say, oh, just let her handle everything. No, be involved somewhat. Be involved somewhat.
Believe me. And Tommy,
she'll appreciate that,
Tommy, the one thing I'm going to be super involved in. I may take charge in the food.
What?
I got to make sure that the menu. Well, she could have the final say on everything. I need to make sure the menu is up to snuff.
Now, are you going to do one of those groom boot camps and like try to work out like a madman?
Well, I've already been in that. That's my life now. I'm trying. I got one weekend of enjoy. No, I'm doing good. I joke a lot. I am doing good. I have stuck to it. I'm been good with my diet, and so hopefully I don't have to do too much of a boot camp.
Well, I can't contact you anymore because I got off social media. I just couldn't do it anymore. It was a total cesspool. It was ridiculous. Couldn't do it. So I'll get my number to the producer so we can, if you contact, we'll contact each other. We'll do it.
And unfortunately, we'll have to, we'll meet up at a Met game, even though it'll be a sad Met game. But
But you know what? There's so much. I wish I was there in the studio with you. I could talk for 4 hours about this team. You know me. I live and die with this team. I try to be even keeled. It's rough. You covered just about everything. I think the one reason why Mendoza's still here is because Philly had a Don Mattingly on the bench to come in. We don't have that. I think there's three reasons why Mendoza's still the manager. One, I think they genuinely like him as the manager of the organization.
Yes.
Two, they didn't have a Don Mattingly type, that senior kind of bench coach to come in. They don't have that. And then the third thing is it's because of injuries. And look, I'm not trying to use it as an excuse. I'm not. I think even if everybody was healthy, we'd probably be around a 500 team. We'd still be mediocre. But Gallo, even just the Lindor and now the Alvarez. I mean, this guy Hayden Senga. If I have to see Hayden Senga take one more at bat, I think
why is that?
It's just ridiculous.
You spent $300 million on a roster, and your depth at most positions is guys like Hayden Senga, and he was a great story. But this is enough.
No, because in fairness, not too many teams have depth at catcher. Even a guy like Torrens, it's like a backup quarterback in football. It's great until the guy actually has to play every down. Torrens is a great backup catcher when he's catching once a week. But when he's playing every day, you just see.
Well, and that's the problem is, too, if the Mets were hitting, if they were 7-8 guys deep offensively, you don't care about Torrens then. But the fact is, when 4 of your hitters in the lineup give you nothing, and the rest of the lineup barely gives you anything.
That lineup yesterday, I swear, if you didn't know any better, you think that was a spring training game. Without Soto, you have the kid Ewing, I think, was hitting third.
Right.
Vientos batting cleanup.
You got Ewing hitting third, and that's, listen, maybe one day, I feel like he tracks to be more of a leadoff hitter, but your $300 million roster, and you're hitting a guy with less than 100 ABs. Third.
Well, a couple of things that you got to feel good about. Again, I'm not trying to be like rose-colored glasses here. What you got to like about Benj and Ewing, even when they're not hitting, they help you in other ways. They help you with the speed. They help you with a play in the outfield. That's always good to see.
They're exciting, too. They are exciting to watch.
And Scott's look good. I mean, and again, I'd rather go with Scott and Thornton and Tong no way under any circumstances do I want to see Kodai Senga anywhere near a mound anymore in the Met uniform. I can't do it.
Unfortunately, I think he is going to be a part of it.
Gallo, I can't see him and that goofy little interpreter after games anymore talking about how he feels great and it's close and mechanics are here. I can't do that anymore. I can't. I swear to God, I can't do that.
He's just not a gamer. It's just, and that's the biggest thing. He's just not a gamer. Like, he doesn't grind out like starts, and it's just a disaster.
Because as bad as Manaya's been, we saw Manaya in 24 down the stretch and in the playoffs. The guy was a bulldog. Even Peterson was that was only, it's funny, 2024 was 2 years ago. It feels like 1,000 years ago.
Well,
when these guys were pitching well for us, and everybody loved Mendoza, everybody was in love with Stearns. It's less than 2 full years ago, and it seems like that Lindor grand slam against Philly. Seems like 20 years.
And Tommy, I appreciate the call as always, my man. Thank you. It's funny because he talks about like the lineup and St. John's, which is cool. St. John, not that anyone really cares about baseball in college, but especially in this market. St. John's made the college baseball World Series. I don't know if they call the whole tournament the World Series, but they made it, and they won the Big East tournament. And joking with my friends yesterday, and Ryan Hickey, who used to be here on the CBS Sports side, he was joking, saying, St. John's might be able to beat the Mets right now. They might shut them out. And that's how bad they are. And with a guy like Minaya, I'm not even mad at Minaya. His body has betrayed him. His arm is shot, and they should honestly opt to get him surgery instead of trying to make him pitch through this. The loose body in his arm, just handle it. That's something that doesn't go away. But that is, like Tommy said, it feels like 10 years ago, seeing him pitch competitively. Mo in Brooklyn, what's going on, Mo?
Gallo, great show. Great
Appreciate you.
points. I agree with everything that was said prior. But it started before the season started, before the first pitch. They took Mendy's legs out from under him. We took out the whole coaching staff. And then you bring in all new players. And now you're hoping that you're going to get a whole new staff to gel with all these new players. To me, it seemed like an expansion team.
Well,
and we're playing like an expansion team. And tell me where we differ from that.
Right. And Mo, what's funny is I wanted them to change the coaching staff. I did. And I was probably wrong about it because, as bad as things were, it wasn't this bad. And it's funny you say that. What I'm seeing from this team, it feels like, and this might be conjecture, it feels like this was part of the plan, that they always had these young guys in mind, and that the staff was looking towards development, because a lot of these young guys have dealt with the staff. I think the hitting coach was a part of the minor league system, and a couple of the base coaches were a part of the minor league system, where Benj and Morabito and Ewing had familiarity, but it's asking a lot. You overhaul the roster, you overhaul the coaching staff, and I agree Mendy got his legs cut out. And I honestly don't think Mendy is terrible, but I think that they have to make a change, and it's not going to be anywhere but manager.
Gallo, I'm going to tell you the name. Albert Pujols.
I would be in.
No one talks about this guy as a manager. If he's the Mets manager, he'll be a Mets manager for a long time.
Well,
please consider this guy.
And he was a serious contender for the Angels job, and he managed in the World Baseball Classic. So, there's the ability to manage, high-profile games. Like, as much as people might not care, those were intense games. So, for him, it's no different. Another guy, too, and I know Met fans might not be crazy about it, I would like to see a guy like Yadier Molina even. Pujols was always...
No problem.
Yeah. Pujols was the cut from that A-Rod cloth, and I appreciate the call, Mo, where he was, yes, no steroids, but he was a great player, but who also was truly a student of the game, really loved baseball, lived and breathed baseball. So he could be the option. I don't think things change if Stearns is still here. And as somebody who was a Stearns defender, very adamant about getting Stearns, I was wrong there as well. But that has been an abject failure, and I don't think it's going to change until the philosophy changes. And I also don't – I want accountability, but I also can kind of see why Cohen doesn't want to continuously change the front office and maybe why he's trying to trust the baseball people. But something's got to give at some point. We got a lot to get to. The Knicks, one game away from the NBA Finals. We'll get into that. We'll continue the baseball conversation all right here, Memorial Day on the Fan. Anthony Gallo, be right back. It's simple, and yes, you get compensated. More than that, it's a meaningful and it can truly change someone's life. If you've ever wanted to do something that actually matters, this is it. Learn more at spermbank.com. Apply to start earning up to $2,400 per month as a sperm donor.
And for my final time today, Andre Ferro, InjuryLawyer.com Fan Highway Patrol, presented by the Rothenberg Law Firm. Let's go to Brooklyn. We have a collision on the westbound side of the belt, right around Stillwell Avenue, heading towards the Verrazano. You're going to need some extra time there. Eastbound BQE busy, heading towards Atlantic Avenue. It's been a quiet ride at the crossings this morning. We had to deal with some fog. We're dealing with wet roads, so you want to reduce speeds. And right now we do have a good ride at the inbound Lincoln, Holland, and George. Northbound 95 in the Bronx, not so fast. Heading up towards Middletown Road and Country Club Road, there's a stall knocking out one lane, so stick with the service road. And tonight at Jones Beach, there'll be a drone show, weather permitting. So keep that in mind in your travels. That'll start at 9 o'clock. They do have a pre-show at 6 p.m., so get down there early if you're going. Traffic sponsored by Ray Catena Mercedes-Benz of Edison. Have yourself a good Memorial Day. Andre Ferro, InjuryLawyer.com, Fan Highway Patrol, presented by the Rothenberg Law Firm.
It's After Hours with Tommy Lugauer, 7 to midnight on the Fan, 101.9 FM.
Joe Shane has done a better job than a lot of people want to give him credit for. And the issues with his team over the last couple of years was more about coaching, was more about culture, was more about lack of quarterback. It was more that than it was the job that Joe Shane had done.
Get After Hours on demand, available on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, and the free Odyssey app.
Listen to MLB Insider Calls on WFAN all season long. Presented by Grainger. For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional-grade products you need, delivered when and where you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
It's the Hello Summer Sale at Target. Now through Monday, say hello to 30% off select shorts and sandals, women's dresses and skirts too. Say hello to 30% off select Threshold bedding and bath. Oh, and hello 20% off sunscreen. Spray, stick, lotion, or mist. It keeps the sun fun. The Hello Summer Sale ends Monday, and it's only at Target, where getting summer ready is just one quick stop away. Restrictions apply.
Cloudy with light rain early in the day and a high of 74.
Weather brought to you by Capital One. Capital One offers no fees or minimums on checking accounts. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank guide. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Summer starts behind the wheel of a Mercedes-Benz at the Mercedes-Benz of Edison Memorial Day sales event. Shop over 600 new and pre-owned vehicles. Experience Ray Catena customer service, and you'll see why Mercedes-Benz of Edison earned the 2026 Mercedes-Benz Dealer of the Year by Cars.com. The Boomer and Gio Show is brought to you by FanDuel. This is your reminder to check in daily, because every day during the NBA playoffs, FanDuel is serving up a happy hour. We're talking special drops you won't want to miss, from profit boosts to bonus bets and more. Check out a new reward every single day of the NBA playoffs, and don't miss your shot to get a little extra out of the action. Head to FanDuel.com/New York to get started. That's FanDuel.com/New York. We just love the app around here. It's safe and secure, has all the betting markets you could possibly want. And when you win, you get paid instantly. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of WFAN. 21 and over and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration. Leg requirements and max wager amount. For help with a gambling problem, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. You look like you could use a refresher, a Dunkin' refresher. Try Dunkin's delicious black cherry or berry acai refreshers. One sip and you'll feel refreshed. There are so many delicious flavors like mango, pineapple, or strawberry dragon fruit. So whether you're powering through your day or just pulling up for a little treat, make it a Dunkin' Refresher. Dunkin' Refreshers, they're the perfect summer pick-me-up. Dunkin' Refreshers are fruit-flavored, contain 0 to 1% fruit juice. Terms and exclusions may apply.
Many tire dealers will sell you Falcon tires, but Town Fair Tire doesn't just sell Falcon tires, they sell them at the guaranteed lowest price. Plus, they give you free services for the life of your Falcon tires. That's an unbeatable deal only Town Fair Tire can offer, because Town Fair Tire is New England's largest name brand discount tire dealer. Nobody beats a Town Fair Tire deal, and I mean nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
In June, the 2026 U.S. Open Championship returns to the iconic Shinnecock Hills Golf Club. Experience greatness live in the Hamptons. Get your tickets now on SeatGeek.
It's the road ahead, brought to you by the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. Visit your local Kia dealer today. The team from the Bronx begins a 6-game road trip in Kansas City. They return home after the trip to play against Cleveland and then arch rival Boston.
School's out, and these are the only courses you need. Celebrate your graduation with 5 courses fresh from the Wok Fire. Enjoy a 5-course celebration experience starting at $89.99, featuring premium entrees like New York prime strip steak tataki, oolong Chilean sea bass, and lobster and prawn fried rice. Bold flavors, sizzling favorites, a meal made to impress. Congratulations, you handled the hard work. Now, let us handle the cooking. Celebrate with some sizzle, only at P.F. Chang's.
Pros, save more on the materials you need to get the job done, inside and out, at Lowe's. Right now, get 10% off in-stock Trex Naturals decking, now available in more styles. Plus, get 15% off select custom entry, interior, and storm doors. Then, we'll deliver it all straight to your job site to help keep your jobs moving. Get the brands pros trust, priced right, and ready when you need them. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 5/27. While supplies last. Selection varies by location.
WFAN and Corona are throwing a watch party Monday night, May 25th, as New York takes on Cleveland for Game 4. Join John Wallace and Positive Tommy at Buddy's on 3rd Avenue in New York City. Please drink responsibly.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems that can keep you up at night, like snoring, aches and pains, or sleeping hot. Our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And through Friday at Mattress Firm, you can get a Sealy mattress in any size for only $494.99. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
This is the highlight of my morning. Hey, what's up? It's Island.
And I'm Josh.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Bacon, Egg, and Cheese Biscuit is that it's our go-to morning comfort.
And you've got that nice golden fluffy egg.
With a soft, flaky biscuit.
Crispy bacon.
Melty cheese.
You want something quick, you want something convenient, but most of all, you want something good.
There's no better way to start your morning.
There we go.
Start off the morning with a Chick-fil-A Bacon, Egg, and Cheese Biscuit with Simply Orange Juice. Order on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
This is an Odyssey Sports Minute.
With the reigning winner off to the NFL, the race for the next Heisman is wide open, and it's a heavyweight battle at the top. You've got C.J. Carr out of Notre Dame flashing elite traits right next to Texas's Arch Manning looking to fully unlock that Texas air raid. Add in Ohio State's dynamic Julian Sain, and this quarterback race is going to be electric. Give me Arch Manning to be the next Heisman Trophy winner. I'm Addie Bates.
Get connected with WFAN to talk about your favorite teams. The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn apps.
NBA Finals. And we'll jump back into the calls in a second. It's so funny. I having fun. The one thing that I feel like most Knicks fans on air, off air with your friends, people calling in have done this. Just going through the list of players that you had to sell yourself on, or the excitement you had. Whether a guy played well or they got a free agent signing, and going through the names of rookie busts or draft busts or free agent busts, and whether it's signing Anthony Hardaway or Allen Houston, establishing himself as a star in the league and then getting hurt after a contract extension, or whatever draft pick you want to name that you had to try and sell yourself on. More recently, like Frank Ntilikina or KP, Kevin Knox, even like the guys that were always around players, whether it was right before or right after in drafts, and some of the forgotten ones, like Kawhi Leonard was very close to Amon Shumpert in the draft. And, Tyrese Maxey was very close to IQ, taking Obi Toppin before Tyrese Halliburton, and Donovan Mitchell being there and just missing out on Steph Curry. And the one that they actually kind of made out awesome with was the RJ Barrett pick, because if they would have taken Zion and Ja, I feel like they are in a drastically different place, because they would have put all their eggs into those baskets. And it's just crazy the where they've been. And I don't take any of these games for granted. During the regular season, you feel that way. But even tonight, it feels like a must win, because you don't want to sit here and start to doubt yourself. And every game is so precious in the playoffs. And as a fan, you don't get a lot of these opportunities. You want this to be, listen, there's no difference to me if they win in 7 games or they win in 4. So if they make the NBA Finals, you want a sweep would be fine. But then part of you is like, you don't want this to end. And obviously, the goal is getting to the mountaintop. So tonight, the only fear you have if they win is just sitting and waiting for the NBA Finals. And the wait for the Eastern Conference Finals was so excruciating, just waiting. Who are we going to play? When are we going to play again? And it looks like you're going to get that again with the Spurs winning last night and everything that's going on in that series is it's 2-2. And I saw a stat, I got to find where it was, that Wembanyama had, let me see if I can pull it up, if I had it saved. He is on a run. It was something like 300 blocks. I don't have it saved. I should have saved it when I saw it earlier. But the run he's on, it was like only one other person in NBA history had done it. It was Bill Walton in, I think, 1977, and he won the title. So it's always how they get to that point in the graphic. But that series has been epic. But take care of business tonight. Let me enjoy the Western Conference as it feels like it's going 7. And we'll worry about who we're going to play when we know who they're going to play. But one game away. And the buzz around the city. Driving even in the rain today, seeing, I saw a Knicks umbrella, seeing, people wearing Knicks hats, Knicks starter jacket. Yesterday, coming back from my mom's in PA at night, as I drove around for 2 hours looking for parking, the Knicks flags that are up. And everybody, you can't go more than 2 blocks without seeing somebody in Knicks gear. And it's exciting. Even the casual fan that you see that, they know something's going on. The other day I'm waiting on the train and this woman's like, oh, did they play yet? Like, they're doing so well. It's awesome. Like, and she was clearly not like a big Knicks fan, but it's fun. And this is exciting. And I'm never going to take this for granted. I'll never forget these moments. And, away we go with the Knicks. And it's funny because I finally get that feeling like, at times it's tiresome hearing about the 90s Knicks. They didn't win anything, and neither is this team. But like, as a guy who didn't get to live through that, who was very young, I was 3 years old in 94. You're going through this, and it's like, all right. And then you kind of now understand why it was so special, because you see how the city is now. And we can have the argument about what the biggest team is or the most popular sport. I'm not doing that. But there's clearly a unification in this city that comes with the Knicks. And, not just in the city, in New Jersey, and specifically Central and North Jersey, and in Connecticut, that you have with this team of people, truly being, the city is Knicks fever right now. And you occasionally get that with the Mets and the Yankees. The football team's a little different because it's such a national sport, as, the basketball gods clearly just heard me as the lights just shot on in here. And now it was nice, and now I'm like blinded. But anyway, the Knicks, 1 game away. Let's get through tonight happy, healthy, and look forward to what is going to be a chaotic NBA Finals, no matter who they face. And one other message to Knicks fans: stop arguing with people about the route they've taken or would this team had beaten the Pacers. Who cares? They're not here. The Knicks are. Why do you care if they got here easily? Why do you care if it was some magical journey that they had to beat the best teams and were underdogs and everything? Who cares? How many times have we gone into a series as the favorite and lost? The Knicks aren't playing with their food. They're not taking anything for granted. They're handling business, and they're a game away from the NBA Finals. You'll listen to The Fan, WFAN AM, WFAN FM 1019, 660 AM in New York. And it is a crazy time right now. Before we get to the calls, our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest prices on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. The HSS one. HSS is ranked number 1 in orthopedics for 16 years in a row, according to U.S. News and World Report, and is the official hospital of the New York Knicks, Brooklyn Nets, and New York Liberty. When you choose HSS, you're receiving the best orthopedic care you could get. Basketball requires speed, agility, and precision, and there's specialists understand the demands of the game, providing expert care to help you recover and return to the court. Whether it's a recreational league or professional arena, most major insurance plans are accepted. Learn more and make an appointment at hss.edu. To the phones we go. Robbie in Lake Success. What's going on, Robbie?
Anthony, first of all, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I'm glad you're going to get some airtime. And let's remember what today represents, which is important. And by the way, congratulations. I just heard
I appreciate
your previous call. I think that's great. A couple of things. I want to just touch on the Mets. Baseball, not even the Mets, but they're the point of the call. And then obviously I got to get to the Knicks. Okay,
right.
Baseball in general. First of all, I can't get into it. I can't follow the Mets. I know it's New York is baseball. I just can't. They're awful.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you something
terrible.
about Cone. Okay, he's from Great Neck. I live in the town of Great Neck. Okay, Lake Success is part of Great Neck. He's a businessman. The guy has buyer's remorse. Probably that he signed Soda for all that money. He's hoping the guy opts out. It's a wasted year. The league stinks. Everybody stinks in baseball, but
that's
5
not true.
teams. Yeah, well, a few teams, okay?
No, I mean,
what I'm basically saying is...
Basically, everyone in the National League is over 500.
Yeah.
Not everybody
Basically, what's going on here is they're waiting for the salary cap to come next year. It's going to be a dead year next
Robbie,
year.
Robbie, I don't want to do this right now. I appreciate you, dude. I love you, but I'm not... I can't do old man yelling at the sky right now. Baseball's fine. Yes, the American League is down, sure. The National League is absolutely stacked. It's not a wasted year. Because the Mets stink, it's not a wasted year. I'm sorry. It's a wasted year for us Mets fans. Yes, it's not a wasted year. And I don't want to do salary cap in baseball right now. I don't. In the chat, somebody said, remember Tony Douglas? Exactly. Tony Douglas, the original ball stopper. But I can't do it right now. It's not a wasted year. It's a wasted year for the Mets, sure. Baseball's fine. Baseball has survived many years without the Mets. They've been irrelevant my entire life, outside of like 3 seasons. You know, the entire NL Central is over 500. 888-808-1019. Joey Clams. What up, Joey?
Hey, Gombada, how you doing? Hey, Anthony, I'm a big Knicks fan and Ranger fan for years in the 70s. You know, I go back. I was 8 years old when they won. I remember them back then, but I don't remember the game because it was on tape delay. But I remember the Knicks back then. You could only watch them on the road on Channel 9. You could never see a Ranger home game or a Knicks home game.
When was this? This was...
It's in the 70s, in 73. I was 8 years old.
What you guys had to go through television-wise. My fault. Yeah, it's funny because I hear my dad talk about stuff when he's talking about watching, but most of the time you're listening on the radio because you didn't always have access to the television broadcast.
I grew up with Marv Albert on the radio, the Ranger games too. Every Ranger game was either I seen it live when I was a kid or it was on the road. You never seen a home Ranger game unless you were live back then. And then until I got my season tickets in the 90s, Section 416's in the house, baby, the Blues, baby. Anthony, today's a business trip.
Yes.
Today's a business trip. Home invasion, pickpocket, tag on the toe, body bag. No messing around. Let's go. Get it over with. Get it done. Let's go
done.
Knicks.
Let's go, Joey. Have a great Memorial Day. My guy, Joey Clams. A business trip. Exactly. Take care of business. And it's funny. You watch that Cavs game. Obviously, the Knicks-Cavs game in Game 3. And the Cavs are a good team. They're not great. The Knicks are light years ahead of them. Coaching, depth. Like, they have good players. Like, Max Strus is a great role player in the NBA. But they're throwing Dean Wade and Sam Merrill and James Harden at Brunson. And it's funny because the Knicks are searching out Harden, just like the Cavs are searching out Brunson. But the Knicks players around Brunson are reacting to that. The Cavs are just forcing the switch and allowing James Harden to be on an island with Brunson. And you look at everything they do, and there's no answer for when Mikal Bridges is going, or when Cat is going, or when OG's going. And that play in the middle of the fourth quarter where the Cavs just stopped playing. Breen, RJ, and Tim Legler, they just stopped playing. That was it. The series ended in that moment. I thought the series ended in Game 1, but the series ended in that moment. No fight whatsoever. Embarrassing. And the Knicks today, go take care of business. I mean, the way the Cavs are talking after, and I get it. You're down 3-0. It's never happened before. But the defeat in the way that Mitchell is talking about the series, like, you would think that at least for his fans, he would show up and say, like, hey, it's not over till it's over. He's like, well, what would have been different is if we would have just finished Game 1. You know what? You're not. And if you won today or you won Game 1, what was the difference? You're still down 3-1. So the Knicks take care of business tonight, and they get a chance to really – and I'm not one of these people who fears rest versus rust. The only sport that I really think that rest can hinder you in the playoffs is baseball, because they are creatures of habit. They play every day, and you get thrown out of a rhythm. I'm not worried in hockey and in basketball. I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried when my team is playing well going into a bye in football or getting the bye as the number 1 seed. I'm not. So if the Knicks win today and they have to wait, what would it be? Game 2, Game 5. So they'd have to probably wait till Sunday or Monday. I don't know if they announced what the exact NBA final schedule would be. But if they have to wait the week, I'm not worried. And if anything, I think the benefit is they get to sit and really analyze as a coaching staff. And I know they have guys doing that already. The Spurs and the Thunder. And the Thunder are banged up. Both of these teams are beatable. I think the Thunder will be outright favorites against the Knicks in a finals. I think it would be closer. I think it would be a pick'em against the Spurs, and I like the way the Knicks match up against the Spurs. Younger, inexperienced Spurs team, a Knicks team that's done really good against them. And for the Thunder, they're banged up, but both teams are clearly beatable. They are. It is not. There is not a last year we thought the Thunder were going to just run away with the NBA title when they won, and it was the Knicks and the Pacers lining up against them, and the Pacers took them to a Game 7 before Halliburton got hurt. And I know, doesn't matter. This is a new year. But it feels like this is a team destined for something great. And obviously they got to win 5 more. 1 more tonight to get to the finals, but 5 more to raise the Larry O'Brien. And then we don't have to have a conversation about what banners we're raising. 888-808-1019. Anthony in Orlando. What's going on, Anthony?
Hey, Anthony. You have a great name.
Thanks, dude.
Appreciate the time. The Mets lost me this year. I've lived in Florida for 20 years, but I've still kind of have been into the Mets. I was a fan growing up in the 70s as a kid. But when they got rid of Pete and Nimmo, yes. I was done. I was literally done. And it wasn't because, Pete was Willie Mays or Nimmo was Ken Griffey Jr., but these were guys that grew up on this team. And Nimmo could have very well just been a DH. Everyone complained about his defense, but Nimmo could have very well just been a DH, and Pete on first base obviously would be a lot better than what we have now.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is I agree with you. This team lost me. I don't even care. I watched them
Anthony,
a little bit over the
me-
weekend. I didn't even root for them.
Yeah, let me ask you something, Ant, because I don't think they're much better if they kept those guys either. Because Pete is not playing well, Diaz is hurt now. But the question I want to ask you is: does it make it easier because you're watching a team at least with guys that you've grown with, that they have been here, whereas this team it feels like it's a bunch of mercenaries?
Yeah, and I mean, Nimmo and Pete aren't doing that bad. I mean,
Pete's hitting
I think,
226.
just hit his 10th homer.
Yeah, but he's
probably
hitting
gonna hit 30, 35
He's hitting 226.
homers, right?
He's hitting 226.
Yeah.
He's having a bad year. It's. I'm not trying to soften the blow, but he's having a bad year. Like
he's not having a great year.
And
but
Nimmo has been really bad over the last month. So again, they two things could be true. Things had to change. They went about it completely wrong.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And
I'm
saying this as a guy, real quick. I'm saying this as a guy who wanted Alonso back. I'm just saying that it felt like the Mets were doomed, and it's still a failure on the part of Stearns because that should have never been the case.
Right. You're right. Absolutely. I think, Pete and Nimmo both are going through an adjustment right now. I think if they had stayed Mets, they'd probably be hitting a little better than they are right now. But that said, right, I think that if Pete was on first base and Nimmo was a DH and maybe you brought in Bichette, right? I mean, this Beatty, can we just send this? He might do well as a Yankee with the short porch.
Right.
Gets a lot of fly balls to right field. Can we get rid of this guy?
Wow. I appreciate the call, Ed. There's going to be changes. I will say this. A guy like Clay Holmes, I want back. I don't think this injury is going to hurt his long-term health arm-wise. A guy like Peralta, trade him at the deadline. A guy like, a lot of these guys like Vientos and Beatty, if you get anything for them. I hate this what are you going to get? You get whatever you could get for him. Now, the thing with Peralta is they may not trade him because if they're only going to get one prospect, they may view that first-round tenure that he may get because they're going to qualify him. He's not going to accept it, and he's probably going to get paid enough. I think he has to get over $100 million in totality in the contract. It's frustrating for sure. And they have to find a way to not – the season's wasted, obviously, because it's a loss. But they have to find a way to give you something to believe in if there's a next season. If there's no lockout and there is a next season next year. And I think it's the way of the young guys. But there's no reason to double down and hold on to, Peralta to the end of the year and Vientos and Beatty and Peterson who could walk. Beatty and Vientos I'm just done with. Get rid of them. If you could get rid of them and get something, get rid of them. They're not, their potential is not there. I'm sorry. They're just not those guys. They're role players that shouldn't be relied on in the heart of your order. But do not sit here and double down because you signed Polanco to a 2-year deal. If you could get something for him, get something for him. Rebuild. You wanted to rebuild, Stearns. Actually do it. Show a spine. Don't be, if the fan base hates you already, do it then. That was my problem with the way this offseason went was they clearly didn't want Alonso back in 24. They clearly didn't want guys back. In 25, sorry. They clearly didn't want, he didn't sign Nimmo to that contract. I think they wanted Diaz back and they overplayed their hands and maybe they got lucky on that one. Now with the cockfighting stuff and everything. But, he's wanted to rebuild this team, then just do it. You're already hated. You can't be more hated. Just do it already. Don't half-ass it. Go all in. 888-808-1019. Mike in Connecticut. What's going on, Mike?
Anthony, first time calling. I just want to say, as one of the newer hosts, you've got it going. You've got a thing. You've got that special thing, and you're a good listen.
I appreciate you.
All right,
dude.
Anthony, before you got it. Thank you. Very quickly, again, of course, chime in. Congratulations on your engagement. A quick shout out and honoring on this Memorial Day all you who are listening now to the fan, all Gold Star families. We're thinking about you today.
Yes.
All right, Anthony. With that said, after watching last night's game, I have what I believe may be the question of the day for you, sir. Possibly the headlining question of the day for all fan listeners. Here we go. How, as much as they're a work of art, this Knicks team, so beautiful to watch. We all know that. Just gorgeous to watch. How is this Knicks team going to deal with a 7'5" unicorn named Vincent Wembanyama?
Well, I mean,
that's my question, Anthony.
I appreciate the call, Mike. I mean, if you watched, again, you can only take the regular season with a grain of salt. They're going to do what they've done with every big that they face in that situation, and they're going to be physical. Mitchell Robinson is going to be a big part of this series, and they are going to, when he's on the arc, OG's going to have his hands full. But this is the thing that, again, we could talk about how weak the Eastern Conference is when one of the two teams the Knicks are playing potentially in the finals, the Knicks handled in the regular season. I think what's going to happen is they're going to let Wemby do his thing. It's the other guys they're going to force to beat them. And the difference is here with the way that and I still think the Thunder are going to be the team at the end of the day. I think that this Spurs team is a year away from being dangerous. Meaning like they're dangerous now, but meaning like they're going to be a team that we're going to talk about for a long time. Somebody put in the chat, Vincent Wembanyama is his brother. Yes, we knew who he was talking about. Very funny, Rich. They are a team that I think needs another ancillary piece, or maybe one of these guys has to grow, whether it's Castle, maybe even more a Champagny. But I think they're going to turn into something that is scary in the NBA for a long time. I do think that if the Knicks play them, they can attack Wemby, but they also can force those ancillary pieces to beat them. Whereas the Thunder, it's more their health. I do think the Knicks match up with them defensively, but it's what the Thunder could throw at the Knicks defensively is where you have your concerns. The difference is when you play the Spurs, it's not necessarily about stopping Wemby. It's about how you neutralize him defensively. And he is a guy that can jump back and, if he's out on the arc, he could cover the whole paint. But with a guy like Cat, who he will be covering, he's going to have to respect him on the arc, so that will open up around him the rest of the team. If they're not going to throw Wemby on OG and, put a smaller person on, whoever it is, Harrison Barnes, whoever they want to throw at Cat to cover him when he's initiating the offense on the arc. I just don't, see that as the ultimate. Like, Wemby is one player, and it's going to take more than just that one player to overcome what this Knicks team is. And I keep hearing about how weak the Eastern Conference is. None of that matters. How many times in the history of the NBA have we seen a team steamroll their conference and, specifically in the earlier 2000s, the Pistons or whoever it was, the Bulls, the Eastern Conference later in that run, not earlier when the Knicks were still a force, the Magic were still a force. Later in that run, they would get to the Western Conference. They would play the Western Conference champions and beat them. You're going into a series where teams are still going to be able to compete. Last year, we heard the Eastern Conference is weak and the Western Conference is this tough conference. And the Pacers, who knows what happens if Halliburton doesn't tear his Achilles in Game 7 of last year's game. Finals, sorry. But this Knicks team matches up well in the sense of defensively, there's not many teams outside of the Thunder that can do what the Knicks do defensively. OG Anunoby is one of the best, if not the best, on-ball defenders in the league. And then you throw guys like Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart and Deuce and Mitch. At times Jordan Clarkson. Alvarado is a good defender. You have all of these guys who are good defenders. Cat has been a good defender in the playoffs. You can argue that he hasn't because he hasn't been what you envision a center being, but he has been a good defender in the playoffs. And then there's always the conversation of who's Brunson going to cover, but it's also who's going to cover Brunson. And we've seen whether it's Thompson with the Pistons, whether it's all these guys that are supposedly going to stop Jalen Brunson, and they have yet to actually stop him. The issue with the Knicks in prior playoff defeats was not Jalen Brunson. It was, the rest of the team not coming up. Or, Brunson had a bad, if I remember, game 2 or 3, when it comes to the loss of the Pacers last year. But the year prior, they went to game 7. The team was decimated with injuries. Brunson was not the problem. There was nobody else on the court, so all they had to do was focus on Brunson. Remember, OG played, what was it, the first 2 minutes of that game? In that game 7, they are in a situation where they are going to have to put up a stout defensive performance every night. Offensively, it is going to be a grind against both of these teams because they're good defensive teams. But the Knicks are not going to be able to lay off the gas pedal defensively. Obviously, take care of business against the Cavs, first and foremost. I'd rather play the Spurs if I'm the Knicks. The Thunder, though, are beatable. It does not mean the Knicks are going to be favored. When I say that, it means there's so many people that have just written off the Knicks. And even in this run, now it's because before it was the Knicks fan during the season. They'll never beat the Pistons. They'll never beat the Cavs. They can't beat the Sixers. And then it was the Hawks are going to be a tough matchup for us. And then it's going to be the Sixers are a worse matchup than the Celtics. And the Knicks continuously would put out their fans were continuously the ones doubting. Now the fan base is completely bought in. They've completely done a 180. Now the national media, who has been kinder to the Knicks, now they're the ones saying they don't stand a chance against the Spurs and the Thunder. And I just don't think that's the case. I'm not saying they'll be favored. I'm not saying that we could just walk into the series and say, we're going to win. But they can win. And it has nothing to do about who they've played or who they're going to play. It's just they are that good of a team. They are deep, just as deep as these two teams. They are a team that presents matchup problems for no matter who they face in the NBA. The one thing I'll say is there's not a team in the NBA that could change their identity offensively game to game like the Knicks can. Whether it's starting with Brunson or starting with Cat, whether it's living off of a guy like OG, who is as good of a number 3 as you can have in this league, and the depth that they have with a Josh Hart and a Mikal Bridges and guys off the bench like Clarkson offensively. Defensively, Mitch is maybe the best. He is clearly a top 5 defensive big in the league. But when it comes to bench pieces, there's not a lot of teams that are bringing a guy off the bench like that is a elite bench piece. And they continuously go out there and dominate offensively. They are a criminally underrated defensive team. Wembanyama is going to have to deal with the physicality, which he's growing in this series against the Thunder, and I think ultimately the Thunder will win. I wouldn't be shocked if the Spurs win. I'm just saying I ultimately think the Thunder will win, but this is going to be that series when we look back on Wembanyama's, amazing career, and we're like, well, this was the series that Wemby really grew. Jordan with the Pistons or the Celtics, whichever, one of those series you want to point to as his growth and what really put him over the top. There's so many, in the history of the NBA, you go through great players and great teams. They all had that moment where they had to learn. I go back to, I think it was the Warriors versus the Thunder, if I'm correct. I might be mistaken, the year they still had Mark Jackson. And it was like, this is where they learned to get over that hump. For a team that's young and budding, obviously the Knicks are in a different boat, or, you go back to the Miami Heat in that great dynasty where they were put together. They didn't need to learn to win. Wade was already a winner. They had guys on that team that were winners. That Spurs team, I think this is ultimately going to be the step that next year when they take and maybe are most likely in the NBA Finals, we're looking back on as that was the start of their growth and their achievement of getting to where is going to be a scary, place in the NBA. I don't fear the Spurs, and, Wemby is a unicorn. He is God's gift to basketball. Yes, I get that. those ancillary pieces rely heavily on him. And if he's beating you, but nobody else is, it's going to be really tough for the Spurs versus a Knicks team that are throwing multiple looks and multiple defenders and are a physical team at you in a 7-game series. The Thunder, it's the fact that they have a guy like SGA and they throw at you so many different pieces. But I don't expect Chet to physically overmatch Cat like we've seen him struggle with. Now, I do think he presents with the pieces they have defensively, and they will throw at you from, their number 1 player to their 12th player. That's where that scares me. It's not necessarily they can't match up with the Knicks. It's that they have so many pieces to match up with the Knicks. Similar to how the Knicks have a lot of pieces to match up with both of these teams. It's exciting. And it's a conversation I thought we would be having. I never really doubted the when this team reaches its apex, where they can go. If Cat was doing what he was supposed to do, if we got the most out of Bridges, what this team can do. And that is the other thing, too, that is an outlier here and kind of an underrated talking point. And I know we've began to really praise Mikal Bridges. This is a team that in the 2 years before this playoffs, really, Bridges has been great in the postseason both years. That is without a doubt, sorry. Bridges has been great in the postseason. We haven't seen him offensively great like this in his Knicks tenure. How he's been over the last 10 games. That's how great he's been. Shooting, I think, 70% or whatever it is, just below 70% from the field. That is another aspect where you have Brunson, Cat, and OG who can all shoulder the load offensively. And now you're throwing Mikal Bridges in there as a guy who is another person that needs to be respected, another threat offensively. And as much as you guys kill Josh Hart, he struggled for a few games to shoot the ball. He shot 40% from 3 overall this year. So he was eventually, once he got it going, was going to get it going. And you bring off Jordan Clarkson and Deuce off the bench, there's a lot of offensive firepower that you could throw. And where the Thunder, I actually think, are missing that offensive firepower, they make up for defensively. With the Spurs, they have a lot of guys who could score, and they are a good defensive team. They don't have the defensive depth that the Knicks have. And that is the different conundrum each team poses. 888-808-1019. We've got a lot to get into. More Knicks. We'll get back to the calls. Mets, Yankees. What do we, I feel like this is the time people are going to start prepping the grill. What do we got going on the grill? What's in store for you for the Memorial Day festivities as we honor those who have fallen? But first, it's time for the Yankees.
Yankees are going to Kansas City to play ball with the Royals. 3:40 this afternoon.
Going, and go!
Susan Waldman and Dave Sims call all the action. The home of Yankees baseball is The Fan. 101.9 FM, 660 AM, and always available en Espanol with Ricky Ricardo on the Odyssey app.
The all-new 2026 Mazda CX-5 is designed to give you balance of style, advanced technology, and craftsmanship in a family-friendly SUV that delivers exceptional value. Get more with the all-new 2026 Mazda CX-5, the smart choice. Visit your local Mazda dealer or MazdaUSA.com.
FanDuel is giving you better payouts on same-game parlays all NBA playoffs long, with more ways to build and more value every time you play. You can stack your picks your way for every game, every matchup, and every moment. From spreads to player points to threes and more. Build it all into one same-game parlay and go for bigger payouts. So if you're betting same-game parlays this NBA postseason, bet them on FanDuel. More options, better payouts, all NBA playoffs long. Head to FanDuel.com/New York to get started. That's FanDuel.com/New York, an official partner of the NBA. Play your game. We just love the app around here. It has all the betting markets you could possibly want. It's safe and secure. When you win, you get paid instantly. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of WFAN. 21 and over and physically present in New York. For help with a gambling problem, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
For 100 years, London Jewelers has been part of life's most meaningful moments, from engagements and anniversaries to milestones, big and small. We've helped mark the moments that matter the most to our customers. Generations of families have trusted London Jewelers for exceptional craftsmanship, timeless design, and service that lasts a lifetime. As we celebrate a century of excellence, we thank you for being part of our story, and we look forward to the moments still to come. We invite you to visit London Jewelers at any one of their 6 locations. London Jewelers, celebrating 100 years of brilliance. Hey everyone, Boomer Esiason here. I've spent years on the field learning what really matters most: reliability, consistency, and trust. That's why I love Red Pocket Mobile. You choose from 3 major 5G networks. Plans start at just $10 a month and stay there. Plus real customer care answers in under 2 minutes. Red Pocket Mobile, your new ultimate cell carrier.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
It's the Hello Summer Sale at Target. Now through Monday, say hello to 30% off select shorts and sandals, women's dresses and skirts too. Say hello to 30% off select Threshold bedding and bath. Oh, and hello 20% off sunscreen. Spray, stick, lotion, or mist, it keeps the sun fun. The Hello Summer Sale ends Monday, and it's only at Target, where getting summer ready is just one quick stop away. Restrictions apply.
Tune in for the Yankees' first pitch, presented by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees.
Furnished by IntelliBrands. Whether because of discomfort, lack of mobility, your lifestyle, or occupation, you sit inactively way too many hours a day. Get an Ellipse, the premium quality automatic seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation without physical strain or impact. Improve your flexibility and balance. Strengthen and tone your legs.
My joints feel better, my knees feel better, my back feels better, and it makes me feel stronger too.
My circulation is moving. I'm burning calories, and it makes me feel energetic.
It's so quiet that none of my coworkers even know I'm using it.
Call now and order Ellipse, the seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation. And for a limited time, get a free upgrade to our deluxe bundle with a faster motor, sport mat, and wireless remote. Call 800-555-1212. That's 800-555-1212. 800-555-1212 now. These statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
The Declaration of Deals sales event is happening now at Ramsey Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram.
And here are some deals that are declared to be a winner. Lease a new 2026 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited 4x4 for $349 a month for 24 months, or buy and get 0% APR financing for 36 months.
And no monthly payments for 90 days.
Or drive off in a new 2026 Jeep Wrangler 4-door Sport S 4x4, lease for just $319 a month for 36 months, or buy and get 0% APR financing for 36 months.
Also, no monthly payments for 90 days.
It's the Declaration of Deals sales event happening now at Ramsey Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, home of exceptional people, exceptional deals.
Call 833-853-2969 for details. Up to 4808 do it signing plus.
tax, title, registration, and fees. $0 security deposit. VIN number TC191247. MSRP $49,805. APR at $16.67 per month per $1,000 finance. VIN number TW241148. MSRP $49,710. APR at $27.78 per month per $1,000 finance. Ends 6/1/26.
This is an Odyssey Sports Minute.
Some giant issues in New York after this weekend, right? Your figurehead GM somehow gets an extension. Jackson Dart and Abdul Carter are arguing politics like they're at the Christmas dinner table in an episode of The Bear. But those issues won't actually affect football this fall. The Malik Neighbors news, though, with reports that he might not be ready for Week 1 against the Cowboys, that is a legit problem. That is a giant issue. I'm Chris Mack.
Get the scuttlebutt on your favorite team, the Fan, on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn apps.
Oh, that's right. Anthony Gallo. 888-808-1019, the number to call to get into the conversation right here on The Fan. Still gloomy out. It looks like it's going to be drizzling all day. So, I asked, what are we grilling up right now? And somebody in the chat said rain. So, get the umbrella out, man up, and get the dogs, the burgers, the brats. Get it going. Some skirt steak. Let's go. Speaking of food. Also the great Ray Jarvis on the other side of the glass driving this ship today. I don't know if you guys saw this story. I'm not a tennis fan, but coming in, I thought it was funny. I always look at, certain headlines, just to break up the monotony. And the French Open's taking place, which I is one of the bigger tournaments, I'm assuming. Arthur G, or Gea, I don't know how to say his last name, G-E-A. Middle of the match, I see this clip, and this guy clearly, the tummy's rumbling. And he has to beg. I guess they're allowed one bathroom break from what I read, so I'm assuming he already took one. He had to beg the match official, the ref, whatever they call the judge, the umpire, whatever they call it in tennis. Had to beg him for a bathroom break. And you could tell the way he's walking. He's clearly clenching the cheeks. And they finally, he's arguing with, I can't wait. I'm serious. I can't wait. His quote was, I cannot wait. It's not a joke. And I don't know how the umpire, keeps doesn't just laugh, but he obviously goes sprints, cheeks clenched, sprints to the bathroom, ends up coming back. And it's probably, I guess it's a minute. He still lost. And it's quotes after where I needed to go to the bathroom. I can't move anymore. I'm going to go on the court. And he ended up going. He lost. And they said the official quote was, he was granted a special permission because of a medical circumstances after dealing with severe sphincter squeezing stomach pain. I go through that every time I have Indian food. It is one of my greatest fears coming in here. So I always am very smart on what I eat. Sometimes I'll eat something that might, make me tired, give me the itis, but I always make sure I eat something that is not going to have me running back and forth in the middle of a segment to the bathroom. Craig had to deal with that this week because, he keeps going to this deli that clearly has bad dairy. And it is a fear of mine doing this. And it's funny because I think it was Carter Bryant on the Spurs in the middle of, I think it was game 1, went to the bathroom in I'm assuming it was the high price seats in Oklahoma City, but this video emerged of him washing his hands in the bathroom. And a public bathroom, meaning it's the fans are there. And he's in his uniform. It's hilarious. And it's something I always laugh at. Sometimes we see these guys go to the locker room and they come back fairly quickly, or it's right before the half and they go to the locker room. And I'm always like, this guy could be dropping a deuce. And it has nothing to do with an injury. Or you could be like Paul Pearson, fake a severe injury because you were going to crap your pants and get wheelchaired off the floor and then come back to, a fake Willis Reed moment. More overrated than the actual Willis Reed moment. So, somebody in the chat says, I get that watching the 2026 Mets every game. Yeah, fair. I wish I had stomach problems when I watch the Mets. 888-808-1019. 1019. Ralph in Manhattan. What's going on, Ralph?
Never go on the air with a full stomach, Anthony.
Yeah,
that's the rule. That's the rule of thumb. You know, here's like a fifth grader asking the teacher, "Can I go on my bathroom
there's
break?"
No teacher here. If I'm about to blow it up, Ray's about to host the show by himself.
Yeah, Derry's a killer. All right, so here's a telltale sign that the Mets were off base. Pardon the pun. This cockamamie term that they use, run prevention, this thing was concocted, invented by maybe David Stern. I'm not so sure that Stearns invented it, Anthony, but somebody, from one of the Ivy schools actually invented that for a term for baseball, because that has never been a term for baseball. And if they throw that at you, Anthony, you have to say to yourself, what direction are they going? They're reinventing the wheel.
Well, Ralph, are we sure that he was even talking about the defense? Maybe he was talking about the offense.
Well, probably, because that's what it turned out to be. But, the fact is, we used to refer to it, Anthony, if you remember, good defense. We want to shore up the defense. We never said the two words, the dreaded words, run prevention. That was never uttered. But here's the thing. When you reinvent the wheel and and Nimmo's having a terrible season, I get it, and so is Pete. But again, the other caller made a pretty good point that if they were ensconced with the Mets, it would be a different story. They're comfortable. They're familiar with their surroundings. It's different when you go to a different team. But those two were solid individuals, solid players, and they somehow thought it better to get rid of them, and that's their downfall. That was the wrong move. I don't care how you look at it. You want to play the young guys? Yeah, you play the young guys, but you have two solid people right there at first and in the outfield, and those were bad moves. Wouldn't you agree?
No, I agree, but something had to change. The problem is the pivot has not worked, and my issue, Ralph, is even if they kept those guys, they're not a good baseball team, but that's not an excuse for Stearns. That's an indictment on Stearns, because where was the fix coming? He is the guy who was supposed to add to this team. He took a team that was a year removed. Yes, they were bad in 2023, but they were a year removed from winning 100 games. They then go to the NLCS, and they have regressed every single day since going to the NLCS.
Well, here's the thing. What a good GM does, Anthony, is look 2-3 steps ahead. You can't just fix the problem without having a solution in store. So obviously now, I can't play GM. I'm sure this guy knows more baseball than I've ever known. I'm not saying that, but there has to be a plan in place. Though, Ralph. Otherwise, that's it. Right, but there has to be a plan in place, and you look rather stupid when you make these big-time moves. Think about how they dismantled this team. They took apart this team, unceremoniously. So you got to have something in store for the future, and the Mets did not do that. I don't think.
A great call, Ralph. And another thing, like Ralph saying about the plan was, okay, they trade. Let's start from the jump. They trade Nimmo, and I was okay with that trade, but I thought it was leading to Alonso and Diaz being signed, because the thought with the trade was they're saving money in the long run. Years 4 and 5, so Simeon's got 3 years and Nimmo had 5. The thought was on years 4 and 5, they're saving money. So if they sign Alonso to a 5-year deal, or they signed Diaz at the time, we thought he was going to get a 5-year deal, and he ended up settling for 3. That's what I thought was happening. But then they don't do that, and you lose Alonso. And the Alonso deal was huge. I still thought they should have matched it. You lose Alonso, and you lose Diaz on a very manageable deal, a deal that you could have matched. And I don't think they thought he was ever going to just take the offer from the Dodgers and not come back to them. But then you pivot, and it's like, all right, you're going in this one direction. So what's the next move you make? Jorge Polanco. To put him where? At first base. A position he has never played. So now you're telling us you're going for run prevention. And sure, you upgraded up the middle. Simeon and Lindor, if Lindor was healthy, that's maybe the best shortstop second base duo defensively in the league. Fine. All right, I'm seeing it. Better with runners at scoring position, and Simeon's lived up to that. But then you go out and you get Polanco. to play him at first base, a position he's never played, and when he has played there, he didn't look great. And then you add what felt like a panic move in adding Bo Bichette. You know, you had signed Devin Williams right before losing Diaz, and you bring in Luke Weaver. And I truly believe the plan was Williams and Diaz at the back end of the pen. And there was never, I do not think Bo Bichette and Freddie Peralta were ever truly a part of the plan. I don't. I think their hope was they were going to bring in Diaz and Williams. Maybe they would have brought in Luke Weaver. And they were going to shore up the back end of the bullpen. They were going to nickel and dime the rotation and live with Senga, potentially Minaya, Peterson, McLean, and the young kids. And they didn't get Diaz back. So now they're starting to scramble, you know. And you bring in, again, Bichette was not somebody the Mets were ever really attached to seriously. And you pivot to that, which felt like a panic move, which to me, I didn't think the Bichette move was bad. What I felt bad about, what felt wrong with the Mets, was that this felt like a move they made because the fan base was upset. It felt like a move they made because it wasn't truly in their plan. So if you have a plan, even if it's unpopular, stick to the freaking plan. But then you bring in Bo Bichette, you bring in Luis Robert, who I was in favor of. I thought it was low risk, high reward, and it's been mostly risk at this point. Outside of that first week where we were all like, oh, man, Luis Robert, man, he's turned it around. He's going to have a renaissance season. And then you bring in Freddie Peralta. Again, a move I didn't kill. I was okay with giving up Jet Williams and Brandon Sproat. And they've all been a disaster. Bo Bichette is sure. I'm sure he'll get to some kind of numbers. But for a guy that all we heard about is he's a contact hitter, he's bat the ball, he's gonna live in 185 to 190 hits. The guy can't get the ball to the infield. He can't play third base. And now you're slotting him back to shortstop, which you didn't want him to play because you have so many injuries. And he doesn't look like he cares. And Polanco can't see the field. And Luis Robert, who was injury-prone, can't see the field. And Freddie Peralta, who was supposed to be an ace, is pitching like a three-starter who can't ever – he gets through the one time he gets through 7 innings, he gives up 4 runs, which is not good enough. It's not. He's got a 3.5 ERA. Sure, if he was a guy who was slotted in to be a number 3 starter, fine. You guys killed Clay Holmes for that kind of ERA. We were told that Clay Holmes isn't that good, even though he was consistent all of last year, but he was brought in on a $12 million deal, which is essentially back-end starting rotation money. And the inverse is hilarious, is that before he got hurt, the last 2 years, Clay Holmes has been their best pitcher far and wide. And you put all your eggs into a very unproven young pitcher who I'm not saying is bad. But, you know, to the Met fan that wanted to tell you that Nolan McLean was Paul Skeens, Nolan McLean was Tyreek Skubal, he was this elite pitcher. He's not. He can be, maybe. He's clearly got the stuff. He's been anything but that. And it didn't really start to bother me until his last 2 starts, where one of those starts he goes out there and gets padded a 5-run lead. And it blows up in his face immediately. He gives up a lot of home runs. It has been a rough go for him to start. And again, it does not mean he's a bad pitcher. He has time to grow. But he's not the ace. He's not anchoring this staff. He's not. And it's not that even that he's struggling at times. He's struggling against bad teams. And it's frustrating because this is not a Nolan McLean problem. Because I think he's got a bright future. He's going to be a part of this team. He hasn't been as advertised, and that's not his fault. We obviously got ahead of ourselves in hyping him up. But the management, David Stearns, has bought into this guy as somebody they probably thought was going to be a part of anchoring this staff. And he's been anything but that. You know, over his last 7 starts, he's got a almost 4 ERA. He's given up 18 runs in 41 innings. That's not great. And that's against the likes of, Arizona, he actually pitched well against. And they have a decent offense. But against Detroit, against Washington, against L.A., he was not great. He got fat on pitching against the Giants. Like we went from that amazing start against the Dodgers to him regressing each and every start since. And maybe it's a part of just the toxicity of the Mets team. And you sit there and this isn't me giving up on McClain. It's just being honest. The arguments we had earlier in the year, who's better, Cam Schlittler or Nolan McClain, it's not close. We went from trying to compare this guy to Paul Skeens. He is, right now, a middle rotation guy. I believe in his stuff. I believe he's 24 years old. I believe he's going to get better. I believe he's going to get better this year. But it's another indictment on the front office where you decided to put all your eggs in a basket full of question marks. And the guys that weren't question marks, Freddie Peralta, Bo Bichette, have been bad. And I'm sorry, I don't care that Freddie Peralta is a 3.5 ERA. He's supposed to be a guy that's leading this rotation. He's supposed to be a guy that you're hoping in a contract year was going to follow up a Cy Young-worthy year with another tremendous year, and he hasn't been that. He's been unreliable. Bo Bichette has been unreliable. David Stearns has been an abject failure. Yes, Severino, Minaya, Jose Iglesias, and J.D. Martinez in year one, great. He did great there. Since then, outside of Clay Holmes, and the Juan Soto deal, I'm sorry, whoever the GM was, Steve Cohen's the one that got that over the top. So outside of Clay Holmes, since Francisco Lindor has hit that grand slam in the NLDS in 2024, it's been all downhill. It's been a disaster. And somebody has to be accountable. And the manager's going to be the one that's sacrificed at the altar, and they're probably going to do it too late. As you watch other teams fire managers, and you watch the Phillies fire their manager and kind of turn their season around. I know they're still under 500, but they have played way better baseball since. 888-808-1019. We'll continue the conversation around the baseball. We prep the Knicks. We get the excitement building. Are one game away from the NBA Finals. Tonight could be the night that so many of us have waited decades for. Anthony Gallo on the Fan. Back after this.
It's Boomer and Gio. Mornings on the Fan. 101.9 FM.
There's things about Karl Anthony Towns that if they really want to win a championship, he can't be doing, like we've been saying for 2 years now. And those things are making dumb fouls, holding on to guys. And then if you miss a basket, you can't be upside down like a beetle.
Get Boomer and Gio on demand. Available on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, and the free Odyssey app.
Want to stay cool for the next 2 summers without spending a penny? Well, Sloman's has the AC offer of the century. Get 18 months with 0 payments and 0 interest. They're now offering cutting-edge 18-SEER 2026 refrigerant-compliant systems expertly installed by their certified technicians, all at the lowest prices of the year. That's right. Get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 18 months. Plus, they're including a comprehensive 5-year service plan. This includes annual system checks, filter replacement, and refrigerant to keep your AC running smoothly all summer long. Servicing all of Long Island and Queens, call the team at Sloman's today at 516-932-7000 for your free estimate. But hurry, these cool savings won't last. Don't miss out. Call 516-932-7000 or visit ac.slomans.com. That's ac.slomans.com. Terms and conditions do apply.
When it comes to getting the guaranteed lowest price on Falcon tires, there's only one place to go, Town Fair Tire. And when it comes to getting more free services for life than anywhere else on Falcon tires, there's only one place to go, Town Fair Tire. So when you're in the market for the best deal on Falcon tires, get to Town Fair, because nobody beats a Town Fair Tire deal. And I mean absolutely nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair if you have a small business, you might not know you could be wasting money on your business mobile plan, paying for stuff you don't actually need. But with My Biz Plan from Verizon Business, you can choose exactly what you want and only pay for what you need for your business. When you're in control of your mobile plan, you can make every dollar count. Visit VerizonBusiness.com. Do it today to learn more and make the switch. Verizon Business.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home. Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Summer's a gift. The gift of days that last a little longer. A brighter state of mind. So gift yourself a new Kia at the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. With specially tagged vehicles including the Sorrento, Sportage, Carnival, as well as the Niro Hybrid. All backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. So the gift of summer can keep on giving for summers to come. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-3334-KIA for details. Always drive safely. Event ends 6/1/26. See dealer for warranty details.
The most important meal of the day just got better at Dunkin'. Now you can get a medium hot or iced coffee, 6 crispy hash browns, and a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, all for $6. That's a full breakfast meal for $6. 6 crispy golden hash browns, a warm, delicious bacon, egg, and cheese, and a medium coffee to start your day right. Do breakfast the Dunkin' way and order Dunkin's $6 meal. No substitutions, participations and times may vary. Limited time offer cannot be combined with other offers. Exclusions and terms apply.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I was throwing a party for the twins and had custom invites and a banner printed at Staples. And that's when I saw Party City is now at Staples.
Party City? No way!
Yep. So now Staples has all your printing needs and everything you need for a party.
Everything times 2.
Yeah, and now at Staples, save 40% on custom cards, photo gifts, wrapping paper, banners, and more.
Big news! Party City is now at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. In 613, exclusions apply.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is...
just driving the kids to soccer practice.
Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA-estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
And hey, come on, no cleats on the seats.
And Doug.
There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means sitting front row at a comedy show.
Hey everyone, check out this guy and his bird. What is this, your first date?
Oh, no, we help people customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual together. We're married. Me to a human, him to a bird.
Yeah, the bird looks out of your league anyways.
Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
The Rico Brogna podcast is proudly sponsored by Takara Fuji Apple Chew High, the sparkling cocktail that blends shochu spirits with delicious flavors of fruits from Japan. Whether it's Citi Field or your favorite spot, raise the apple.
This is an Odyssey Sports Minute.
The
blueprint clear for the Spurs. Attack. And while SGA got away with one classic Flop-Lahoma foul early last night, he didn't do much following that because San Antonio got super aggressive on both sides of the floor and put the Thunder on their heels. Both of OKC's losses have come when SGA didn't get to the line at least 10 times. In fact, OKC has lost just 5 times all season when SGA gets double-digit free throw attempts. So the formula for San Antonio, attack, and don't let SGA flop his way to the finals. I'm Chris Mack.
Get breaking sports news here. WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1 New York, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Anthony Gallo back on the Fan. I got you till 1 o'clock right here on this Memorial Day morning. 888-808-1019. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest prices and price on name brands. Tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. And this Fan Focus is also brought to you by Town Fair Tire. Last night, it was cool, me being in the age group I'm in and, being a gigantic NBA fan. And not just last night, but actually getting to see Pop, around the Spurs as this is happening. And you hear that he has been, involved with, kind of giving advice and, the report saying he kind of called the team out after Game 3. It's cool to see that. As a big, I love Pop. I think he's a great coach, one of the, the best to do it. One of the 3 best in my lifetime. It's cool to see that. It's also the relationship that him and Tim Duncan have is amazing as well. As Tim Duncan, if you've read the reports that he's been there, as Pop's health has taken a turn for the worse the last couple of years and forced him into retirement. Duncan being there every step of the way and him saying he feels obligated. He took care of him when he was younger and he feels obligated to take care of him now. So a cool story. And one of those, ancillary, we got a lot of the Knicks, the city and just what it means to the city and that story and them making the finals and how special that is, not just for New York, but the NBA. And I also thought that story about Pop and the Spurs was a cool little nugget. And the NBA is in a great place right now. You have 2 young, dynastic, hopefully dynastic teams. The Thunder could be on their way to 1. And the Spurs with Wemby look like they are going to be a force for the next decade plus. And then the Knicks story is incredible. Not just the story that they are, this group is going to lead the Knicks to an NBA Finals for the first time since 1999 and feel like they have a real shot to win it. It's just also the nature of how they've done it. And it's been very anti, tank culture. The Knicks never tanked. In the Leon Rose era. Leon Rose came in, if I'm correct, shortly after the R.J. Barrett draft. And even in the year that they stunk in 2021-22, when the year after the Hawks series, they bring in Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier, and they don't sign a star. They don't tank for a top 5 draft pick. They bring in Jalen Brunson and they develop these guys, which, I think a lot of it is on Jalen Brunson more than it is the Knicks. But at the same way we would give Miami Heat, this narrative of Heat culture and how they develop all this talent and they make guys better. The Knicks have only brought guys in and made them better. OG has taken a step with the Knicks. Jalen Brunson went from a secondary piece role player to a superstar. Guys like Mitchell Robinson and Deuce McBride have turned into serviceable, really valuable role players in this league. And even the other guys that haven't yet had their true impact, they've developed them. They developed IQ into a valuable draft asset or trade piece that has turned into a guy that got a big secondary contract with the Raptors. Quentin Grimes obviously did it elsewhere, but this is something we haven't seen. And the Knicks have done it, counterculture to what the NBA has been. And then the Thunder have kind of did this as well. They traded for SGA. Yes, they probably didn't trade with SGA thinking he was going to be what he is, but I'm sure the Knicks didn't expect Jalen Brunson to turn into a superstar. I'm sure that they thought he had potential to be a all-star, like really good point guard. But I don't think they thought he was going to turn into this. Maybe they did. I don't want to take away all the credit. But the Thunder probably didn't think SGA was going to turn into a back-to-back MVP when they traded Paul George. And yes, there was a part of a tank in that, but they, in a way, have developed talent around him. And yes, they got, with the draft capital they had gotten prior to taking that leap with SGA, they have been able to add, and they're going to add another piece this year. I think they have the 5th pick in the draft. It's been truly the NBA is, again, in good hands. And when you get a healthy Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton back and Doncic, you're going to have a very, that generation that I feel like a lot of people lost interest with. This is a new generation. And Brunson's more, obviously, a part of that previous generation because he is 28, 29 years old. But it's exciting. And a lot of, the Thunder storyline of chasing a back-to-back ring and starting what is you hope to be a dynasty. And the Spurs, it's the start of the Wembanyama, really career journey and chasing that title in his first taste of the playoffs and his first real deep run in the playoffs. And the Knicks, it's getting them back there with Jalen Brunson, the undersized guard, and a team that a lot of people have tried to pick apart for the last 2 years, that they were not good enough. It's an incredible story. And I also think that a lot of the narrative with Brunson, he flops too much, which isn't true because the guys who are getting to the line, there's a lot of guys who average more free throws per game. He's not even in the top 11 or 12 in that aspect. And that he's too small. He doesn't play good enough defense. And the Knicks are on the precipice of getting to the NBA Finals and having a legitimate shot to raise a banner that isn't the NBA Cup banner, to win the Larry O'Brien trophy, to become NBA champions, which will put Brunson and the rest of this cast, Brunson, Cat, Bridges, OG, Mitchell Robinson is the longest tenured Knick, in a stratosphere and an immortality in New York that so few get to see. The funny thing is, too, and I look at Cat, you're talking about storylines. He's in his 3rd straight conference finals, about to go to the NBA Finals. A guy who's been often criticized. But as a number 1 pick, obviously, Wemby is well on his way to this, too. He is one of the more successful number 1 picks in the last 2 decades in the NBA. If he ultimately gets to the finals and wins an NBA championship, it's an incredible journey that these guys have been on. And we had a caller over the weekend when I hosted on Saturday call in and spoke about a quote he saw from the Wizards president, and about like how a lot of these NBA players, we may give them this storyline and this narrative and this is their identity, but their stories aren't written yet. And I think this Knicks team is like the ultimate encapsulation of that. 3 guys who won national championships together in college, together, about to win. Cat, this guy who, has always been picked apart, and he's soft, and he's this, and he's that, is in his 3rd conference finals, going to go to the NBA Finals. Could potentially win one before the likes of a Joel Embiid. And Jimmy Butler, guys that have been compared to him and he's had his personal beefs with. The Timberwolves and Ant Edwards not getting back there to the conference finals. There are so many ways to look at this. OG, who wasn't really active when the Raptors won the title, is now going to be an active part of this. Jose Alvarado, a smaller one. One of my favorite storylines. A kid from New York, born and bred New Yorker, going to be a part of what could potentially be the Knicks' first championship since the early 70s. And what that moment at the parade will be when I know he is a small piece on this team, but he is a major piece in my storyline as a somebody who loves to root for, the local guys. Think about that moment for him. If they get to that point, he's on the Canyon of Heroes at City Hall in front of New York, where I'm sure he was, he's talked about it, wearing Knicks jerseys, dreaming of playing in the Garden. It's awesome. There is just storylines galore, specifically around the Knicks, but also, on a macro level in the entire NBA. The league's in a great place. The Knicks are on the verge of doing something absolutely historic and special. And we'll get to the calls in one more second. And if the Knicks manage to win the finals, beat the Spurs or the Thunder, if it's the Thunder, even specifically the Thunder, because it gives them more credence to that win, their dominance, and if they somehow were to dominate in the finals or win in 5 or 6 games, there is a conversation to be had about how great in the history of the NBA, singular years, not dynasties and back-to-back wins, whatever, just singular teams in the NBA, how great this team actually is. 888-808-1019. Phil in Bayside. What's going on, Phil?
Hey, G, my man. Listen, the Cavaliers, Knicks won the first game. Brunson had a hell of a game, so they shut him down, and then they dip it to Hart. And then the second game, all right, Hart has a good game, Hart has a great game. Then the third game, they dip it to Bridges.
Yep.
So tonight, the only answer is OG's going to have a monster game.
Well, now you got to put the check the over unders on OG and see where it is. And it's funny because you mentioned the second game, and Brunson could not knock down a 3-point shot. He was 1 of 7 from 3. Which ended up, I think he was 6 of 9 from the field, from the 2-point field, but he had 14 assists. And it's just the narrative that has been surrounding this team now, their ability to adjust and to show you a different look every night, whether it's OG or Cat or Brunson or Bridges or Hart, that's taking the lead. Maybe the night's the Deuce night. You don't know. You never know,
I love
Phil.
OG. I love OG, but I do love the Deuce. So it could be a good combination of those cats.
I appreciate you, Phil. Great call. Who doesn't love a Deuce? And it's, the last game, I thought that, again, OG's been quiet offensively, but I think he's been immense defensively. And there were some shots he's hit in the last 2 games that were big. When the score was shrinking, or when, the second quarter, the Cavs are fighting back and they knock down a couple threes, and then OG goes down there and knocks down a 3. Landry Shamet, in such minimal playing time, has been so impactful. It's another one of those aspects of this team. He's been an underrated defender. And he's a great defender. He's not elite. He's not somebody who could carry you and anchor your defense, but he has given Donovan Mitchell problems. He also spaces the floor. He's a shooter. When he's locked in, he's locked in. He's 7 of 8 in this series from 3. And it's just been a part of what has been. And in game 2, where he didn't have any points, he only played 15 minutes. In that game, he also was a major factor defensively in those 15 minutes. Coming in, stifling Donovan Mitchell. It's truly, the way that they've structured this roster, and we talk about the shortcomings of David Stearns. Well, Leon Rose. And talk about a guy that, yes, maybe there's a couple of draft conundrums we've had, but talk about a guy who has truly just been a masterclass. Yes, the Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker moves were not great. And you're not going to nail 100%. The Yabusele move was whatever. It was an ancillary move, and it wasn't like when we brought in Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier, it was like, we've upgraded this team. Randall and Rose, they've got some help. And talking about another local guy in Walker, who I really wanted to succeed here. He's been almost perfect, Leon Rose. Even in the things that we've criticized, the year that he kept trading away first-round picks. It was the same year Jaren Duran got picked, because I laughed because he was announced to the Knicks, but it was obviously he was going to the Magic or the Pistons, whoever it was, because that's truly who owned it. He really has done an incredible job bringing in Landry Shamet, and this year not wanting to lose him. And yes, part of it was Malcolm Brogdon retiring, but I think Brogdon was retiring because the writing was on the wall. He wasn't making the team. And the way he's been able to rely on the younger guys at times and making the difficult decision of moving on from Tibbs when it felt like Tibbs did not really want to give up a lot of his power when it came to the roster construction and the way that the rotations were going to go. He has done an incredible job. And he hasn't gotten the love that a Pat Riley has because he hasn't won a ring. But if he is to win a ring, there are very few people in this league that I would rather have running my franchise than Leon Rose. 888-808-1019. Mike in Detroit. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, how's it going? I'm a Mets fan out here, and I like listening to your show.
I appreciate it.
I was wondering, do you think it's time for the Mets to lean into the small ball? Use the speed of Benj and Morbido and Ewing?
Yeah, Mike, I got to let you go just because a lot of noise. It sounded like you were in a wind tunnel. Parasailing in Detroit. They also, how's the Pistons? I should have asked them how the vibes were around those unbeatable Pistons. So many Knicks fans told us the Pistons were unbeatable because they're so tough. Everybody's tough when no one's punching back, and then the playoffs come and it hits you in the face, and now you have to adjust. And don't be shocked if the Pistons are not sitting and they're playing in a playing game next year. The Mets 100%. They have to lean into the small ball. They can't do anything else. I am fully in rebuild mode now in my head. I know the season's not over and maybe they could turn it around. They need to lean into the young player, call up whatever starting pitchers you got. There's the kid that's pitching well now that he's starting, the Wenninger, I think is his name. Get him going. At some point, Ryan Clifford, get that guy up. Lean into Jonah Tong. Lean into Christian Scott. Lean into Nolan McLean. That's it. The season's over. Just, if we're going to have some fun, I can buy into watching a bad team with young players that potentially can help us in the future. I don't want to sit here watching Polanco and Robert hit 100 and watch Bo Bichette's, weekly ground out to second base. I don't want to watch it. And Botch. I don't want to watch Vientos have a good week and then go 1 for 20 and Beatty go 1 for 30. I don't want to watch it anymore. And I know they're young, but I'm talking about truly young guys that we haven't really gotten to see yet. 888-808-1019. Anthony Gallo on the Fan. JR at Somerville. What's going on, JR?
Let's go, Gallo. What we're talking about today. All right. Hey, we need the energy right now because you're in the spot right now where this guy, Evan Roberts, likes to have his little coalition call in and steal little shots against the Knicks. And today I see Evan running. As a matter of fact, I got a message from Evan wondering why the Knicks fans are attacking Nets fans, okay? So this is a time where we're going to go ahead.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen anything about the Nets.
Exactly. Well, let's put it this way. He retweeted some guy who was complaining about the Nets fans, never did anything to the Knicks, and why are we being... Listen, the reason that we are taking our time out, and I'm taking my time out to call you about the Nets fans, is because we have nothing else to do, okay? This series is over, and it's like, what else do we have to do? We can go spin the block on the Nets fans. So I'm glad that I'm calling in because we're going to take the time to talk about that. And the master class that the Knicks have put on that last game, I can't believe. I called you on Saturday, I think it was, and I said that they're going to pressure Brunson. These guys quit instantly.
That was embarrassing. That fourth quarter play where they just all stopped moving. And the Knicks, there was a moment where you could tell the Knicks players weren't sure if a whistle was blown or not before they started celebrating because they just stopped. They all looked at each other and just stopped.
It's that Nets DNA. They got a center that's 6'9", who's like another 5 inches. He gets another 5 inches credit for his afro. The guy's soft, okay? He's not handling the back line at all.
The second,
and Jared Allen.
Yep, and the second that OG has gotten healthy and started boxing him out, he's been non-existent in this game.
Exactly. OG's the same size as this guy. OG's hanging on the rim. And I want to bring this up because I was watching that game the other night on ESPN Skyview. So a lot of people may not know, but ESPN has different views. The in-arena Skyview with Monica and Tyler on the radio call is the best way to watch the Knicks as long as they're on ESPN. So I was watching that. This team quit on Atkinson in the second quarter. I could watch the body language, the bench, and everything. They quit on this team. So, once again, this is really, we're going to give the Knicks credit today, but a lot of what the Nets DNA has provided to the rest of the league and Atkinson, dudes like Allen, and some of these other bums are just helping us out. Thank you very much. Enjoy in this spot.
JR,
Gallo.
I appreciate you. Let's go Knicks. My guy, JR in Somerville. I am this one. I am not a Nets hater. I get why the Net fan kind of gets annoyed with the Knicks. I get it, and I'm not doing the little brother thing, but that is kind of it. I am not a Nets hater. I have, somebody when I was younger got a lot of enjoyment when the Knicks were terrible at watching Jason Kidd and Richard Jefferson and Kenny Martin as a young kid. But Net fans right now, that's all they got. The coalition is very quiet. Even RJ, Richard Jefferson on the broadcast, has been waxing poetic about the Knicks. That coalition of Knicks hater, there's nothing they got. I get it all the time. They're going to lose. Every round, they're going to lose to the Hawks. They're going to lose to the Sixers. Oh, the Cavs are going to deal with them. And now they're not going to have a chance against the Thunder. But it is what it is. Evans texted me. Clearly, I am not a wordsmith, and Evans telling me that my idioms are not good. So we are... I'm sure I'll be featured on that on Friday, very much so. But I haven't seen anyone really talking about the Nets. Hell, my guy Keith McPherson has been very complimentary of the Knicks, and he's even talking about going to the parade and having some fun. He's also a content creator, and that's what every content creator is doing now. It's part of the frustration. I have no problem with it. Go out there and have fun, Knicks fans. The young kid, you want to go out there and bring a microphone, fine. We've got some good music out of it. This new artist, MRG's got a song that, kind of feels like a Knicks anthem. But that's what it is. It's just the culture we live in now. But I don't see a lot of Knicks-Nets banter right now. It's mostly Nets fans trying to rain on it. And I know Keith's been catching shrapnel because he's been positive about the Knicks. But he's just objective. And Evan has been very objective about the Knicks. He hates the Knicks, but he's been very objective. And it's rough right now. He doesn't have... He's with me on the baseball team, but he's watching the Knicks succeed. He doesn't have a lot to get. The Jets haven't started yet, and we know how that usually goes. But Evan's been very fair. I actually think when the Knicks fan was more negative than they've been right now, we forget. A lot of Knicks fans did not believe in this team because they were idiots, but they did not believe in this team. Brunson was holding the team back. Cat's too soft. Bridges is terrible. Mike Brown's not Tom Thibodeau. Evan was pretty fair with the team and was the one person that said none of this mattered. And what matters is, April, May, and June. So maybe he got one guy in his mentions. And that's how it happens. You see the one guy and it gets you riled up and you think everyone's talking like that. 888-808-1019. John in Maspeth. What's going on, John?
Gallo, it's good, man.
How are you, dude?
Doing good. So, I'm listening to all this Knicks talk over the radio the last few weeks. Apparently, they're doing great and all. I'm not that much of a basketball fan, but, I'll watch it during the playoffs. But it seems like one person has been missing from the radio lately. Has Omar from Brooklyn chimed in lately?
John,
I'm a big fan listener, and I haven't heard him in a while.
I know, and I am. If Omar is out there, I think the one thing that could put the Knicks over the top right now is Omar. And I've been a staunch, and I appreciate the call, John. I've been a staunch Omar and Brooklyn should get a float if the Knicks win a title. Predating my time working here, obviously I've been a fan of WFAN my entire life. Omar was the caller when it came to the Knicks. We didn't do a lot of Knicks talk because they were so bad. That was the guy that always got me fired up. I don't know. He is the true voice of the Knicks. All you need is him. Maybe he's, went into hiding after the Bills got eliminated by the Broncos. That might have been it. But it's exciting times. There's a lot of people, that have rode with this team, and it's special. Shout out, somebody tweeted this at me. My guy, Mike Mancuso, I did a lot of work with him when I did the Sunday football show. He was my Jets-Giants guy. Great dude, awesome reporter. He tweeted out at me to add to the David Stearns fuel. He said, here's another small bad move. Tyler Rogers, who the Mets traded for last year, who's been elite for the Blue Jays this year, is a 1.54 ERA. They gave up prospects for him. He went unsigned most of the winter. Shout out to Mike for pointing that out. Another bad move in a list of bad moves from David Stearns. So thank you, Mike. The great Mike Mancuso. 888-808-1019. Brian in South River. What's going on, Brian?
Hey, Anthony. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you, dude?
Great. Hey, real quick, man, a side note. Are you from Spotswood originally?
I am.
Oh, wow. So am I, man. Well, listen, you're probably one of the most famous people out of that school, so congrats.
There's one person. I actually went to school with her. Ashley knows Sarah. She's got like 2.5 million followers on IG. But yes, I am a Charger. So,
right on, man.
Did you go to South River High School?
No, dude. I actually I live here now, but I was born and raised in Spotswood, so I'm a Charger, man.
Okay, awesome. When did you graduate?
It's been tough living over here, but it's okay. But hey, congratulations too on your engagement.
Thank you, man.
Yeah,
it's funny. Real quick,
yeah, I wanted to talk
real
about
quick,
the Mets,
Brian.
Man.
I got you. One second. I'll let you finish. It's funny. Unless you're from one of the neighboring towns, I never tell people I'm from Spotswood. I always say, obviously I was born in Brooklyn, but my formative years were in Jersey. They don't know Spotswood unless you lived next to it. It is such a small town. I think we have like 2,500 people in that town. But
it's tiny, man. But it's still home.
Yes, it is. What was your point about the Mets, though?
Well, loved your opening monologue. This was GM malpractice all the way. I mean, clearly, Stearns was the only guy that thought, I'm going to let Alonso walk because Soto doesn't need protection.
Yeah.
I mean, the entire fan base knew this, and we all hoped and prayed and crossed our fingers and toes. All right, maybe this guy knows something we don't. You know what we know? We know this. He needs to be fired like yesterday, dude. And he's not – I don't see Cohen doing it anytime soon, but he's got to go. I mean, you just went through a whole litany of every move this guy makes is turned to crap. It's been horrible.
Yeah.
The team's unwatchable. They're unlikable. I mean, Cohen's only hope to save the fan base is going to can this guy at the end of the year because this is an unmitigated disaster.
Well, Brian, I do not want to be that guy, but I think we're stuck with Stearns for at least another offseason. I do. I truly do. And you know what stinks? And I appreciate the call. Great call, Brian. Central Jersey guy. And it exists. Don't let anybody tell you. If you know how geography works, there is a Central Jersey. And people who live there call it that. They are going to live with Stearns for another offseason. And I don't blame Cohen for wanting to find some cohesion. He's went through, what was it? It was Zach Scott and who was the other one that he brought in? There was one other guy he brought in. And then it was Billy Epler. And now it's David Stearns. I don't think he wants to have the 4 or 5 GMs in this short of a tenure, 6-7 years. But also, something's got to give. And the worst part about this is I truly think Mendoza is a good manager. Baseball, the manager has such a little – we focus on the negatives because it's easier to point out when a manager makes a mistake. We never give positives. And the positives are so little that a manager can have because it's more managing the personalities in the locker room. Like Aaron Boone, the Yankees could win 15 out of 20. We're never going to hear about the great job Aaron Boone did. But let them lose 2 out of 3, and fans will call up and tell you how terrible Aaron Boone is. So I truly think Mendoza is probably going to go somewhere else, and I think he's going to be good. This guy's going to get fired, and I think they waited too long to do it because you want to fire him to spark some urgency under the players. They're going to wait too long to do it, and they're going to regret that. And you're not firing Stearns. And I don't think firing Stearns does anything but appease the fan base. I don't think firing a GM is going to lead them to a epic run. So you let them, wait out the year. And again, I don't expect it anyway. Even if they lose 100 games, I don't expect it. When I came into the year, I said literally, short of them losing 90 to 100 games, I'm okay with bringing back Stearns because I wanted to see him actually build something, but I didn't think it was going to look as lifeless as it does now. And I was wrong about that, and I regret saying that. So an abject failure all around. 888-808-1019. I got you till 1 o'clock. We got a lot more coming up. We'll get into the Yankees. We'll continue the conversation about the Mets. We'll preview a little bit more of this Knicks matchup. So much more to get into. Anthony Gallo on the Fan.
The place to be for everything New York Knicks is the place the Knicks voices speak.
We're hanging out with Knicks legend Walt Clyde Frazier.
Brunson, he's the guy. Mr. Clutch. So down the stretch, he's going to have the ball.
Those who know.
Mr. John Starks.
They've been incredibly locked in. Everybody is clicking on all cylinders. They can win it all.
Carmelo Anthony joins us here on The Fan.
This was a team that was trying to figure out who they were as a team with the lineups. They were trying to figure out offensive systems. They was trying to get Mike Brown. Everybody was trying to figure it out.
You want Knicks? Why go anywhere else?
Mr. James Doan live in studio.
You have to be patient. The team has to gel together. They have to see that they can win. They have to believe in themselves.
Your destination for the Knicks championship run is 101.9 FM WFAN.
Life's
Talk
rewarding,
New York
especially with
sports
Flushing
here,
Bank's
The
Complete
Fan.
Cash Rewards program. Just open a personal or business complete checking account to get started. With 30 New York Metro locations, there's nothing easier or more rewarding. Visit flushingbank.com today. Member FDIC.
Nothing pairs better with Surfside iced tea and vodka or Surfside lemonade and vodka like a day on the golf course. Made with real vodka, real tea, and zero bubbles. That's right, no carbonation. It's not a seltzer. It's Surfside. Cheers to hitting the fairway and cheers to Surfside. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
Nate Smith, Long Live Country Rock and Roll Tour. With Josh Ross and Brandon Wisham, May 28th on the rooftop at Pier 17. One of country music's fastest rising stars. You set my world on fire. Nate Smith live. You set my world. Get tickets now at rooftoppier17.com.
If we're being honest, guys in this town, pretty confident. And hey, that's not a bad thing. But are you willing to put it to the test? California Cryobank is looking for healthy men to become sperm donors. You can earn up to $2,400 a month. Plus, get free health and genetic screenings. And more importantly, you're helping families who can't do this on their own. So if you really think you've got it, and you know who you are, put it to good use. Apply now and see if you qualify. Check out spermbank.com to learn more.
Hey, Boomer Esiason here. You know, after years in the game, I don't guess. I go with what works. Red Pocket Mobile gives you 3 major 5G networks to choose from. Switching cities? Switch your network. That's like calling your own Audible. Visit redpocket.com to see why more Americans are switching to better wireless without paying more. Red Pocket Mobile, your new ultimate cell carrier.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful.
And going to the 55-plus plan saved us so much money. A lot. And that's important, trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it.
Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of Essentials Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
Hi, this is John Starks. At John Starks Kia, we don't play games. No gimmicks, no tricks, no hidden fees, no surprises, and no money down. See ya at John Starks Kia in Queens.
The U.S. Treasury quietly released its official financial report for 2025. It appears by its own numbers, the U.S. government seems insolvent. It's reported that the Treasury shows about $6 trillion in assets and over $47 trillion in liabilities. Add it all up, and it looks like the U.S. owes more than $130 trillion it doesn't have. If that were a family, they'd earn $52,000 a year, spend $73,000, and already be more than $1 million underwater. Any accountant would call that insolvent. So how does the government fix this? It can print money, which erodes your purchasing power, it can raise taxes, or it can cut benefits. And none of those can help to protect you. That's why many people who have something to lose move part of their savings into physical gold and silver, assets that can't be printed, defaulted on, or voted away. Call Monetary Gold at 877-NOW-GOLD for their complimentary gold and silver guide and a no-pressure conversation. That's 877-NOW-GOLD. Call Monetary Gold now at 877-NOW-GOLD. Do it before the next headline, not after. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
As a part of the North to Shore Festival, don't miss 5-time Grammy-nominated Joe Bonamassa live in concert on June 28th at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center. Every show is a new experience with blues rock titan Joe Bonamassa. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Joe Bonamassa live in concert at NJPAC on June 28th.
Get connected with WFAN to talk about your favorite teams. The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn apps.
Memorial Day, as we all get ready, it looks like the weather is, obviously, it's a little murky in the windows here, so I don't know if it's actually clearing up, but it does look better than before. So maybe, hopefully you guys were out there anyway, firing up the grills with an umbrella. And I am, out of here at 1 o'clock. I will be no grill for me because, it's going to be too late in the day, and I just want to go home. I'll unfortunately watch the Mets. I don't know if you guys saw this story, and most of you probably haven't. Basketball in Greece is gigantic. And, I'm a soccer fan, so I'm familiar with this man, Evangelos Marinakis. I think I pronounced his name right, but he is the owner of Nottingham Forest. He's also the owner of Olympiacos, which is a major basketball team in the Greek, it's more Europe, but in the Greek basketball sphere. But in Europe, they have, just like in soccer, a Champions League run. And this guy is in the stands for this game yesterday. And they only show you what happened afterwards, but he's in the stands afterwards with his white T-shirt ripped. Looked like he was just in a scuffle. And it's incredible because he's been tied to, the Greek government and some other scandals, and he's got ties to organized crime. And it's just fascinating the way our two sporting worlds, over in Europe and other places also, and here operate. And the passion that a lot of those fans have. Watch a European basketball game. The level of play is good. It's a step above college, and it's not on the level of the NBA, but the crowd, the fan emotion and passion is out of this world. And it's incredible because you can't get close to an owner here, and there you got people putting hands on him. And it's probably bigger than basketball with what he's tied to, but I thought it was interesting. And he is a character, to say the least. He's got a big old belly. He's always around. He's got into it with managers on his soccer team, and it's a fascinating story. The video's out there now. I just saw it on on Instagram on one of the sports accounts. So crazy. Drew, last name omitted, said Dude spent $100 on a soccer T-shirt and said Mets fans can't enjoy a Knicks finals run because they lost a meaningless game in May. That's not what I said, but thank you. I care. I could chew gum and walk at the same time, where I could tell you that when I'm watching a Knicks game and it follows up with a Mets disaster, it kind of kills a little bit of the buzz. I'm sorry that you don't have the capability to multitask. And I didn't spend $100 on this. I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to tell you where I got it because I don't want to get put on a no-fly list, but I can tell you this much. It's not authentic. 888-808-1019. JT in Jersey City. What's going on, JT?
Anthony, how are we doing today?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm good. I could be doing a little bit better if I had a baseball team to root for.
Yes.
For the first time in my life,
JT, you there?
And
you still there,
yes,
JT? Okay, we'll try one more
here.
time.
Yeah, I said for the first time in my life, I'm actually rooting against the Mets because I can't stand what's happened there over the last couple of years. Stearns has totally dismantled the club, and of course, the most glaring problem that the team has had the last few years, he doesn't even address at all with the pitching.
Right.
And the reason
his
reason
answers
why
for it have been a disaster.
Right. And the reason why is because he does not have any respect for starting pitching. And when you look at the other team in New York, the reason why that general manager has had 30 years without a losing season is because he has respect for starting pitching. And the biggest thing is that Stearns will say, well, I'm not going to sign a guy to a long-term deal because they get hurt. They all get hurt at one point or another, right?
It's also that you cannot, and I appreciate the call, JT. He has tried to address it, but you cannot try to nickel and dime most of the roster and then throw gigantic Band-Aids that don't even fit over the hole or the wound that you have. Like, you can't go out there and sign Juan Soto to this massive deal and then not protect him. And your answers for protecting him is 1 year of Pete Alonso and to sign the next year, let him walk and sign Bo Bichette to a massive deal. You can't go out there and have a rotation that only has two good pitchers in it, in McClain and Clay Holmes, and think that adding Freddie Peralta, relying on McClain to do a lot of heavy lifting that he's clearly not ready to do yet, and then a bunch of question marks, whether it's Manaya's arm, Peterson, which version of him you're going to get, what young player can help you. Christian Scott has been good this year. I don't think they were expecting him to be a major piece. Jonah Tong, we don't know what we're getting out of him yet. And it's been half-assed solutions to major problems. And for all the flack Yankee fans give Brian Cashman, a lot of it is delusional. Brian Cashman ran back what was a team tied for the most wins in the American League, a team a year removed, sans Juan Soto, from the World Series, or 2 years removed from the World Series. They were not healthy. They were one of the most injured teams in baseball last year, and has a pitching staff that, along with the emergence of Cam Schlittler, and now Ryan Weathers is pitching very well, is getting Gerrit Cole back, is getting Carlos Rodon back. They avoided a major injury scare with Max Fried. Yes, he's out, but he's not going to miss the most important part of the season. And they have the best pitching by a mile. Yes, the bullpen has been shaky, but where Bednar has struggled, other guys have stepped up. And if you're going to piece together one piece of your team at the deadline, it's the bullpen. You can't be the Mets searching for pitching, starting pitching, and power offense at the deadline, because that's a recipe for disaster. If you're the Yankees looking for back-end bullpen help, yeah, that's easy. And Cashman has put together an offense that, even when it's not going and firing on all cylinders, is one of the best offenses in baseball. Brian Cashman has put together the best starting rotation in baseball. David Stearns has not come close to doing that. David Stearns has regressed every single day since the NLDS. Since the Mets shoved Jeff McNeil in that lineup in the NLCS after he was hurt And Iglesias was struggling, but he was still a guy who had been there all year. And you shoved him in that lineup, and then you come out the next year with your big move being Juan Soto and not really addressing anything else. You re-signed Sean Manaea. Whoop-de-doo. Clay Holmes was a good signing. I'll give you that. And then this year, you lose Nimmo, and you lose Alonso, and you lose Diaz. And as people have pointed out, my guy Mike Mancuso pointed out, you let Tyler Rogers walk. Your bullpen is not very good. And I said it from the beginning when everyone's like, oh, their bullpen might be better. It hasn't been. And now you have to rely on, again, just muck. And you DFA'd Carl Edwards, who was one of the few guys pitching well for you in that bullpen, a month ago. Where the Yankees are DFAing guys that are not performing well and keeping the guys performing well, or they're sending guys down. They didn't DFA Luis Gil, but they didn't wait on Luis Gil. They sent them down. They didn't have to make a decision. They just sent them down. They didn't waft in the Spencer Jones stuff. They sent them down. Anthony Volpe's playing well now. I don't envision that they're just going to jettison Anthony Volpe for Jose Caballero. What they probably will do is bench Ryan McMahon. Why? Because they're going for it this year. They are managing this roster with a sense of urgency. And because the Yankee fan didn't get their shiny toy in the offseason and they ran it back, everyone's panicked. And the Yankees are fine. The Yankees right now have the second best record, or the third best record, my apologies. They're a game back of Cleveland in the AL. They are as good as any team in baseball. Cut and dry, no argument. The Dodgers, Braves, Rays, and Yankees, those are the four teams. And I'm sorry, I can't envision the Rays sustaining what they're sustaining the entire season. Not because I don't think they're good enough, but to play at this clip the way they are. They're barely striking out. High average. Now, if they do, they're going to be a scary team. But I can't envision they're going to play at this clip the entire season. 888-808-1019. Charles and Tom's River. What's going on, Charles?
Yeah, how are you doing? Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for calling, dude.
Yeah, I want to disagree with you at one point. You were talking about the deadline, the Yankees going for the bullpen.
Uh-huh.
I actually think the Yankees are going to go for a catcher or a third baseman. You can't have Wells in the lineup batting less than 2. And
you can. If he's playing good defense, you can.
It's automatic out in the lineup. You can't have
you're
that.
You're not. Okay, let me ask you something. What catcher are you going to get that's going to hit? You're not getting Will Smith. You're not getting Cal Raleigh. So I appreciate the call, Charles. You got to come with something more than that. Like I said with the Mets, the problem with Luis Torrens is not that he's not good enough to start. He's not good enough to start when 5 of your guys in your lineup are not hitting and you're producing no offense. If the Yankees, and yes, Ryan McMahon is a problem, but I do think when Jose Caballero comes back, you're going to see Caballero at third base more. And they're not going to force Ryan McMahon into the lineup. And he's a good bench piece. He's a good defensive replacement. He occasionally can walk into a home run. Now, if you want to say, which I think he was going to get to, but he did a terrible job getting to it, because I think he was going to say they need to go after a third baseman as well. He did mention it, but he didn't really. The catcher point is what catcher are you adding that's going to upgrade your offense? It's not the way of the position. Will Smith and Cal Raleigh, and Cal Raleigh's been awful. Will Smith and Cal Raleigh have been very. That's not the norm at catcher. Francisco Alvarez is an above-average hitting catcher, and he's not that great of a hitter. 888-808-1019. The Yankees need bullpen help. I'm sorry. They can live with Wells catching, and they can live with Caballero playing third when he's healthy, if the whole team is healthy. You can, if you really are desperate, catch Ben Rice then, if that's how desperate you are for offense, but you don't need to. If 7 of your 9 hitters are hitting, that's all you need. Justin in Tom's River. What's going on, Justin?
Hey, thank you as always for taking my phone call. I'm in total lockstep with you. Even before the Yankees went through this skid, that bullpen leaves a lot to be desired. Obviously, I think the Yankees offense right now is sputtering a little bit. I think they'll get back on track. You know, going into this year, the two things we knew, you had Judge and you had a spectacular starting rotation. The biggest thing right now with the Yankees, that was a big win yesterday. I know it's not June yet. That was a big win for the simple fact that you can't go 0-5 against a division rival in the Rays and going that far back in the division, even though it's early. But this bullpen, Boone has nobody he can trust right now to get 3 outs. Outside of Tim Hill, which is a specialist, and even he sputtered a little bit lately. Cruz, Bednar, Duvall is, I don't know what he's going on between his ears right now. The Yankees need at least 2 arms in that bullpen. He has nobody that he can trust right now to get 3 outs. The Yankees need a bullpen guy I call like a rover that doesn't have a designated role like a setup guy that just goes in, and when you need to get a strikeout, he can go in there like a David Robertson or somebody like that, when you need a strikeout to get an out, to go in there. I think Luke Weaver, unfortunately, is a big loss for this Yankees bullpen because when he went in there,
might be available for him. Who knows?
He might be with the way the Mets are playing this year, but the Yankees need at least 2 arms in that bullpen right now. And that to me would solidify me. I think they would be a serious World Series contender, and I think would compete with the Dodgers.
Yeah, I agree, Justin, and I great call. I do think that you could keep Bednar in the role he's in if you upgrade the rest of that bullpen, because the way the save situations are nowadays, it's not always going to be Bednar in that situation. I will disagree on one thing. Their bullpen is in trouble. I still trust, Hedrick, Cruz, and Hill when it comes down to it. I do. And they are going to have to make a decision in the rotation, which could benefit it. But I do agree they need 2 arms. If they could get a back-end arm and, like he said, a rover, a guy who could give you innings, could come in a tight spot. I do believe that. I'm curious to see, and this is not the answer. I'm not going to. Yankee fans, don't jump down my throat. This is not the answer to all your problems. I am curious that if Clark Schmidt is healthy in the second half and comes back in August, could he be a guy at the front end of that bullpen that could help you? They need a back-end guy for sure. They probably need 2, like he said, a back-end guy and maybe somebody that's more of a length person. Paul Blackburn, he's not reliable enough, and it's not somebody, he's been decent at times. He's not somebody you want to be trusting in major spots in October. And you hope that one of the Duvall or Bird, figure it out. Giovanni Cruz was somebody I thought might be an answer, but now he is, if I'm correct, right? They did DFA him. They did. They optioned him back. He's somebody you could see back, but again, a question mark there. But the Yankees are not in a dire situation. I thought that win was good, but I thought that win was better for the team to get the fans off their back. I thought that win was better for more of the narrative. Not really, I wasn't worried about the Yankees. It was more for the fan. And it was good to get a clutch win where the offense didn't have it going, and they beat a division rival, which I think is the only team in the league that they're going to have to worry about. So we'll go from there. A lot to get to. 1 hour left. I got you till 1 o'clock on this Memorial Day. I want to know what you're grilling. What are we prepping? I know it's gloomy outside, but don't worry. The sun will come out tonight. The Knicks are 1 win away from the NBA Finals. We'll get into that after the break.
It's After Hours with Tommy Lugauer, 7 to midnight on The Fan, 101.9 FM.
Joe Shane has done a better job than a lot of people want to give him credit for. And the issues with this team over the last couple of years was more about coaching. It was more about culture. It was more about lack of quarterback. It was more that than it was the job that Joe Shane had done.
Get After Hours on demand, available on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, and the free Odyssey app.
Todd, I've come to Ramsey Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram to make a declaration of deals on all Ram trucks at Ramsey.
John Montone, During the Declaration of Deals sales event happening now, you can save big on the heavy-duty truck you need to reliably haul the largest of loads year-round.
Lease a new 2026 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4 for $399 a month for 39 months.
Or buy and get 0% APR financing
for 60 months. No monthly payments for 90 days.
And here's another declaration. Ram is America's best full-size truck, complete with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
Declare yours today at Ramsey Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, home of
exceptional people, exceptional deals.
Call 833-853-2969 for details. VIN number TN362106. MSRP $59,755. $48.88. Do it signing plus tax, title, registration, and fees. $0 security deposit and 6/126.
The most important meal of the day just got better at Dunkin'. Now you can get a medium hot or iced coffee, 6 crispy, delicious hash browns, and a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, all for $6. That's a full breakfast meal for $6. 6 crispy golden hash browns, a warm, delicious bacon, egg, and cheese, and a medium coffee to start your day right. Do breakfast the Dunkin' way and order Dunkin's $6 meal deal. No substitutions. Participation and times may vary. Limited time offer. Cannot be combined with other offers. Exclusions and terms apply.
Welcome to 215 Maple Drive. We just put this property on the market.
Love the crown molding.
Oh, wait until you see the walk-in closets and the bathroom tile.
Does it have Verizon Fios? 100% fiber internet?
No Fios, but it looks like it's got cable. Let's check out the kitchen.
No Fios? Yeah, no thank you.
Don't you want to see the rest? Okay, bye-bye.
Get Verizon Fios, because when you're moving, it's 100% or nothing.
Wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners. Wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Skies are slowly clearing with a high around 72.
Weather brought to you by Capital One. Capital One offers no fees or minimums on checking accounts. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank guide. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Diving for that grounder got you grounded? We've got specialists for that. Layup, take you down? We've got specialists for that. With nearly 50 Castle Connolly top doctors, Orland & Cohen specialists are considered among the best in the nation by their peers, which can mean a better outcome for you. From Staten Island to Southampton, our network is open 7 days a week, so you can feel better, faster. Visit OrlandCohen.com.
Guys, let's keep it simple. There are 2 things you probably should be doing: taking care of your health and doing something that actually makes an impact. Here's a way to do both. California Cryobank is looking for healthy men to become sperm donors. You can earn up to $2,400 a month and get free health and genetic screenings along the way. So yeah, you're getting paid to get checked out, and you're helping families who need it. Efficient, smart, done. Check out spermbank.com to learn more, apply, and see if you qualify.
Summer's a gift. The gift of days that last a little longer. A brighter state of mind. So gift yourself a new Kia at the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. With specially tagged vehicles including the Sorrento, Sportage, Carnival, as well as the Niro Hybrid. All backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. So the gift of summer can keep on giving for summers to come. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Always drive safely. Event ends 6/126. See dealer for warranty details.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers?
eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Get everything you need for the entire job delivered. From lumber to drywall, flooring, and fixtures, get it all delivered from the Home Depot. With same day, next day, or any day delivery. Staying on track and on time is crucial to your job. That's why it's our job to get you what you need when you need it. We deliver the supplies. You deliver the results. Brought to you by the Home Depot.
Get the latest on the Giants and Jets on WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1 New York, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Anthony Gallo on the Fan in the greatest city in the world. Don't forget what today is truly about. Coming from somebody with my grandfathers fought in World War II, and, a lot of people did not make it home, and since then, a lot more conflicts, and just, all those families out there that have lost someone, and we thank them for their sacrifice. And today is a fun day. It's okay to have fun and be with your loved ones, but, don't forget, the true meaning of today as we pivot to, the less serious stuff, the fun stuff. Sports. The Knicks, 1 game away from the NBA Finals. And when I saw the story, I don't think they're doing a watch party tonight at the Garden, because I do think there's a concert tonight. I forgot if that was tonight or tomorrow night, but I saw the story about how NYPD and the state and the city decided no more watch parties on whatever that street is next to. I think it's 33rd, but whatever they call that, little alleyway next to Los Tacos and the Penn Station entrance, the new entrance. What they call it, no more watch parties over there. When I saw that, I thought it was funny, because obviously they have the watch party inside. But I'm like, yeah, when they spill out from the stadium, it's still going to get crazy. And I have no problem with it. As long as there's no property damage, no one gets hurt. I mean, if you slip and fall because you're partying too much, that's on you. But I mean, nobody gets hurt in a violent manner. Who cares? But when I saw that, I was like, I feel like this is going to make it worse. I feel like it's only going to make people more fired up to go out there. But, I have confidence that the Knicks win, and we won't turn into Vancouver or L.A. when one of their teams wins or loses. The one thing I will say is, within all of this, because it has been mostly fun, whether it's outside on 7th Ave, or whether it's at one of these many watch parties, or just in the, the safe confines, of your apartment, your house, whatever it is, this has been a unifying force within the city. Not that we aren't always unified, but it's really crazy, because when the Yankees make a run, there's Met fans there that are not happy about it, and vice versa. And this is not a shot at the Net fans. They just do not have the footprint in the city and in the tri-state area that the Knicks do. 80-mile radius around the city, it's mostly Knicks fandom. Whether it's the, I would say mostly Central and North Jersey, because South Jersey, you start to get into Phillies territory or Philly territory. And then same thing with Connecticut. The closer you get to Massachusetts, it's become Celtics territory. But it is such a massive footprint, and everywhere you go, and you get this vibe a little bit with the Mets, the Yankees, the Giants, and the Jets. It's on another level with the Knicks when you are going out and about, and I'm wearing my Knicks gear, or I see other people wearing their Knicks gear, and the amount of smiles, or people stopping you to say something, or just a shout from across the street. The other day I'm walking in, and these 2 construction workers are like, I'm wearing my Brunson jersey, and he's like, wear that proudly after game 1. It's been cool. It's a cool vibe. I did not experience the 90s. I did not experience this frenzy. Yes, the last few years have been great, but now we've gone. We went. It was winning a playoff series, Brunson's first year, and then it was winning 2 playoff series last year, and now it's on the verge of getting to the finals, and the excitement building with each win, and the dominance that they're doing it, I feel like, is only adding to the excitement. 888-808-1019. Alejandro in Queens. What's going on, Alejandro?
Hey, how's it going, Gallo?
What's up, dude?
I just wanted to get your opinion. I know before we talked about Stearns and how we don't think he's going to get the can, but the Mets have been involved with some trade rumors about, getting a big bat. Some talk about Devers or Contreras. But I'm scared that, Stearns and Mendoza might pull a trigger on one of these things to try to save their own skin. So I kind of want to get your opinion on that.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be Mendoza. I appreciate the call, Alejandro. And I don't know how true. Like I haven't seen enough from people I find credible to see Devers linked to the Mets. And, part of me, I could kind of understand it because he is only 29, so it's not like he's completely out of his prime yet. That would be a disaster. And if they make that move, you could guarantee that Stearns is not going anywhere. You could guarantee that he is solidified in his place as the GM. Because they're not allowing him to make a move like that if his job is on the line. And the way I look at Long Island, LIU is playing Georgia in the first round of the college baseball championship. So that's cool. Might be short-lived, but there you go. I didn't even know they were doing a selection show. It was just on the TV, and I saw Long Island University. There is a level of fear that I have that Stearns will do something like that, but I don't think it's to save his job. I think it means that his job is completely safe. Why would he do that? Why would the Mets allow him to do that if they had any concerns that he wouldn't be here? I want to rebuild. I don't want to add. I want to get rid of. I want to blow it up. Let's paint a new canvas. With a new GM and a new artist, I would like. And I don't think Contreras is a bat. What does that do for you? You can also rebuild. Let's say they were to get rid of Peralta and get rid of Bo Bichette. They're not getting rid of Bo Bichette, but in a dream. But let's say they get rid of all these pieces and you add Devers. I guess I could see it both ways, but why are you doing that? And what are you giving up for him? Maybe the Giants just want to get out from underneath that contract? 888-808-1019. Steve in Houston. What's going on, Steve?
Hey, Gallo. What's up, man? Thanks for taking the call. First
I appreciate
of all, congratulations on the fiance, man. That's awesome.
I appreciate that very much.
And down here in Houston, Rocket fan, they're pulling for the Knicks fan because they want us to beat the Spurs. So,
okay. I thought you were going to say there was some hate towards James Harden, but I didn't even think about that. They want you to beat the Spurs, so I get it.
Just a quick Met point, though, piggybacking off the last caller.
Uh-huh.
So down here in Houston, the rumor is that Yordan Alvarez, because the Astros right now stuff too, but that he might be something that the Mets might try to pull a trigger on, which I do not want that to happen. But hey, listen, have a great Memorial Day, my brother, and I'll talk to you later.
I appreciate you, Steve. I saw the Yordan Alvarez stuff. It's funny because he's, again, 28, in that same range, kind of, banged up a lot. Again, I don't want to go out there, and he's having an awesome season, by the way, 315 homers. I know he out of the lineup yesterday with a back problem, but it doesn't make sense when you're this. If the Mets go on a run, they win, 15 of 20 games and get over 500. Now we're talking about something different. But if the Mets continue at this pace and they get to, the end of June and they're, 32 and 41, I'm not making a move like that. Rebuild, pull the Band-Aid off, and stop trying to fill this gap, this massive crater in your roster with these quick fixes that don't work. My guy, Waldy in Flemington. What up, Waldy?
My man, what's going on, bro?
What's up?
First of all, let me get this out the way. As a Sixers fan, I have not been ducking smoke. I've just been busy the last few times you're on air.
I mean, I know you haven't because I've been giving you the business pause text message-wise, for the last 2 weeks.
Nah, for sure. Knicks fans been on my head. But congrats to you guys. And, I mean, let's call it what it is. No team has ever choked away a 3-0 lead. So you guys are going to the finals.
Yes.
So, in my opinion, I think you guys need to be rooting for the Thunder. I know people will say, oh, you're afraid of Wemby. I just feel like styles make fights. And the wings that the Knicks have are going to bother SGA. I mean, watching SGA throughout the playoffs, this is the first time probably since Nash that we really need to relitigate who won the MVP, because he looks super ordinary when he's not averaging 12 free throw attempts a game. And I'm not going to call him a free throw merchant. He's hard to guard. Right. But when you just play physical defense and get wings on him that have length, it's clear that he's struggling.
Well, I mean, and on a lesser extent, it's the same thing that happened with the Pistons. When the whistles get, quieted, when you're not getting as many calls and that physicality isn't an advantage anymore and teams are allowed to be as physical with you, you see it. My only thing is their defensive structure scares me more than what the Spurs do. And I still think that, even if Wemby was to go off with the Spurs, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Defensively, you guys could hide Jalen Brunson because you always know there's going to be a guy like Caruso. Now, when they have the shooters on the court, it'll be a little different. But you could hide Jalen on defense if you're concerned.
I'm not worried about hiding Jalen. I'm not worried about that. I'm really not. It's a narrative. They should be more worried about who's actually covering him. That is what. Because the same thing with the Sixers was where we were going to hide Brunson, and then they just put him on the guy who was least likely to have the ball in his hands most of the time, even though Kelly Oubre is a good player. I don't disagree with your notion, though. You had a Mets point?
Oh, the Mets point is, I don't understand why. Can we be real? This season is probably a lost season. Our bats, I didn't think much of our bats. We clearly had holes in the lineup going into the season because of the moves that Stearns made. But to think that a Jordan Alvarez or a Devers could save this team, I don't see it. We lost Clay Holmes, which is, terrible. We didn't expect it, but he was our best pitcher. So I expect, the starting ERA to dip a little bit as we're plugging guys in. I wish for the best for Jonah Tong, but he was struggling in AAA. I don't know what we're going to get out of him.
Right, and he looks like a kid. And I'm not talking about physically. When he's out there, obviously he's only had one outing right now, so I want to give him a chance. But last year it felt like, man, this is a young kid that is struggling right now with grown men.
Yeah, he was wide-eyed. The lights were too bright for him. So, I personally think that we need to play these young kids and at the deadline, move off of Peralta, maybe entertain, trading Bichette. I know he has the option, but, I think Bichette could be a great value to us with this down season and him opting in and us getting, a above average player at a lower price point. But, that's me dreaming.
I don't think it's a lower price point. I think it's a massive price point.
Well, I know it's front loaded. He got the 47 this year, and it goes down the next couple years.
Well,
but,
he got from what I know, it was the $40 million in the bonus this year, so it's really $2 million on his base salary. But 27, I have it right here. 27 and 28, he makes both years 42 a seain. That's a huge number.
Oh,
that's a huge number. But
we're probably stuck with that because he's having a down year. So.
Right. and, maybe the Blue Jays make a run and they want him back.
Cano all over again.
Right, exactly. And, at least with Cano, we had gotten Edwin Diaz in the deal. But I appreciate you, my guy. I'll let you up. That's my guy, Waldy. Big Sixers fan. He had a torturous 4 games when they played there. The Mets are in an absolute, they could get rid of Peralta. I truly believe they could trade Polanco because it's not a crazy contract. It's truly not like the albatross of a contract that I think Bo Bichette is. I don't think rebuilding means you have to get rid of Lindor and Soto. I don't think that. But, this notion, Met fans have a view of Lindor, and a lot of it has nothing to do with baseball. A lot of it has to do with whatever way you skew politically. And that's fine. I can't tell you to feel. There are teams around the league that would trade for him. That contract is not as, when you look at his yearly intake, it is not as crazy as you think. And he is still one of the best shortstops in the league. And, he was a slow starter. Of course, right as he turned it around, he got hurt. With Bichette and that contract, so when you look at the Mets right now, I want to bring up next year's salaries to see what guys have. Marcus Semien makes 24. I don't think they're trading him. He has played a little bit better. I don't think they're trading him. I don't think a team is taking that on. Defensively, it's what it is. You'll live with him. He's probably a good vet in the clubhouse from what it sounds like. And to be fair, he has hit with runners at scoring position, unlike the rest of the team. It still does not justify the trade. It doesn't. Even if I was in favor of it, it doesn't justify it. It just doesn't. Shout out to Ryder of Jersey playing Florida in the NCAA baseball championships. Devin Williams, he's making, I think it says $15 million here. I thought it was more than that. So he's making 15. Maybe there's a chance they trade him. I also don't know who has no trade clauses, or actually I do. It's Bichette, Senga, and Soto. Those are the guys with no trade clauses. Polanco's making $20 million next year, and then he's a free agent in 28. Maybe there's a team, if the Mets eat a little bit, you get something there. Luis Robert, I think it's I think he has either arbitration or an option on his deal. So maybe there's a chance to trade him there. I'm trying to move around quickly here to bring it up. It's a club option. So that would be on the team at $20 million. So maybe there's a chance that you could trade him as well. Cover whatever the vesting buyout is. Senga is untradeable in my opinion. Who would want, even though it's only $15 million, who wants a worthless pitcher? You know, it looks like they want to keep Clay Holmes, and I don't really want to get rid of him, and you can't trade him now because he's injured. Luke Weaver, again, he's a low price point. They probably envision him being around. There are ways to move on from guys, though, and get better. There isn't an avenue where I see it justified to go and trade for a guy like Devers, like Alvarez, like Contreras. That would be a disaster. My opinion is, if you could trade Peralta and get multiple prospects for him, why not do it? The only benefit of keeping Peralta, if the season doesn't turn around, and I don't think it is, I think the season is over. The only reason why I see Peralta being a benefit is the draft pick you may get. But if you're going to get multiple prospects, why would you hold on to him for one guy? When you're thinking about it, it's 3 versus 1, 2 versus 1, whatever it is. So they're going to have to make a decision somewhere. Somebody in the chat said, Devin Williams is really good at blowing games. Well, he's good at something. And the notion that they don't, we've seen guys get moved before. A lot of the way the analytics era of baseball is, it's not really what you're doing, it's what they think you can do. 888-808-1019. Jack in Flanders, what's going on, Jack?
Hey, Gallo, man. I think you're amazing on the fan, man. Huge
I appreciate
fan.
you.
First-time caller for you. Now, I want to talk about the Knicks really quickly.
Yeah.
I am an Oklahoma City Thunder fan, and I live in Jersey. It's my mom was a Thunder fan, really brought me onto that. I'm looking at this Knicks run. I have a bunch of friends who are Knicks fans, and I've been watching these games. And the Knicks hype, I understand it. Their defense is outstanding. The way that they're shooting the basketball is unreal. But I genuinely think once they make it to the finals, because to me it's inevitable, if they go up against the Thunder, I don't see it being a matchup. I don't know if you know this stat, but last year the Thunder broke the record for a team in the Western Conference only losing one game to an Eastern Conference team last year.
And then they lost
year,
3
they
in the
only had
finals and were about to have a really classic game until Tyrese Halliburton blew his ankle.
That is true. It is a game 7, but I'm telling you, man, I'm looking at this Knicks team and who they have played. I think the Thunder are miles ahead of anyone who they played.
Prior to the Thunder playing the Spurs, who did they play? If we want to play that game.
They played the Lakers. Yeah,
the Lakers without
Doncic
and Austin Reeves was hurt. They played the Suns, who were a play-in team. Like it's. Listen, I think the Thunder are a better team. Yes, that's fine. To say it's not a matchup, I got to be honest, Jack. I don't think you're watching the games with a without rose-colored lenses on about your team. Like
you're probably right. I am a biased Thunder fan, and I will be the first one to admit that.
Jack, you guys, the Thunder are. I think the Thunder are going to beat the Spurs. Let me get that out of the way first. And when they play the Knicks, they're going to be favored. They may be heavily favored, and I don't think that's unjustified. I do think, and I'm not saying the Knicks are good. They can win. I'm not saying they're going to win. It is going to be more of a dogfight than people think, because one.
So do you think it goes 6 or 7, or do you think it's
100%.
4 or 5 type series?
Let me ask you this. Let's just go on the basis of one thing. One, the Thunder are banged up. They are. It's tough right now. I thought it was going to be an easier series for them, but they are banged up. 2, there is a matchup situation here that defensively the Thunder give the Knicks fits, but they also haven't played a team that can guard them on the wings like the Knicks can. Because you're not just talking about OG on SGA. You now can also throw guys at him like Mikal Bridges. If they were desperate and guys are in foul trouble, Miles McBride is an excellent defender. It's not like they're just throwing guys at him that it's OG and a bunch of scrubs. The Knicks have a plethora of wing defenders. The only guy on this team that truly cannot defend the wing is Brunson, and he's not going to have to deal with SGA. And we've saw the Knicks
put him on Dort. You're going to put him on Dort.
Right. And Lou Dort, perfect example. A guy who I think would probably present Brunson with his toughest matchup this postseason, to be fair. He is a long, yes, he's not tall, but he is long. He has, he can stand on his hands, essentially. That's how this guy is as lengthy, and he's one of my favorite players in the league. I'm not disagreeing with you that I think the Thunder will be favored. I think it's tough. I'm not going to call it delusional because you guys are NBA champions. You could potentially win back-to-back. You have the back-to-back MVPs. It's a great call, Jack. I'm not going to call it delusional. I do think there's a little bit of bias there. The same way there are Knicks fans that think they're just going to steamroll to the finals. But I see this narrative, and it's a good call. You're not being unfair. 6-7 games, I think, is guaranteed for either one of these teams. The Knicks are going to have an uphill battle no matter what. They're going to have a really tough test. I disagree with my guy, Waldy, the caller prior, that I'd rather see the Thunder. I'd rather see the Spurs. The one thing I will say about the Thunder is there is SGA and Chet, which, kind of favors the Knicks in the sense of I think that Cat can do fine with Chet. I do not think Chet is a take over a series type of player. He's very good. He's still growing. You got to remember, he sat out a long time his first year with injuries. But there is a matchup problem that both teams present each other, but the Knicks can throw defenders at everyone. Shout out to the Johnnies facing off with Florida State in the college baseball championship. I think that's enough of college baseball for the day, but I figured I see the local teams. I got to shout it out. I am a St. John's alum. They did just win the Big East championship. There is a level of, when you look at the Knicks wing defenders, let's start there. OG, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart in the starting lineup. Then you also have Deuce McBride and Jordan Clarkson. And Jose Alvarado a little different because he's only really going to cover the more undersized guards, but he is a good defender as well, a guy that presents pest problems. The Knicks are going to present problems for SGA, and they are a team that is physical. I think this Spurs OKC series has been physical. The Eastern Conference, even if it is the worst conference by a mile, has been the more physical play. It is just the way, and when you tend to lack talent, you become more physical. It's just always been the same way in the NBA. That being said, the Knicks are still going to have an uphill battle against the Thunder. With the Spurs, I like that team. I do think there are a lot of young guys on that team that are still finding themselves. And if Wemby has to do everything himself, that's going to be really tough. And I don't want to put too much stock in the regular season, but the Knicks handled the Spurs in the regular season pretty easily. The Thunder, now on the opposite side, I keep defending them against the Thunder. They have been they haven't put up a fight against the Thunder in the last 2 seasons. But I've seen this team do enough, and I always thought their ceiling was this. And if they continue to play to their apex, what you expect championship teams to do in this moment, I don't care who they've played. I don't care who they have to play. They have a good shot at winning this whole damn thing. They are healthy. That's what we have to wish for tonight. I truly believe tonight is it. I think the Spurs have, the Cavs have given up. Their coach is talking about analytics, and analytically, we won 2 of the 3 games. I just do not care about who they've played and haven't played. But after tonight, get through tonight. I lost my train of thought there for a second. Healthy. Win and get through it healthy. 888-808-1019. We got a lot to get into. The finals are around the corner. And I don't know if you guys have seen. Shocking. Knicks tickets are expensive. But I'll tell you the number that I saw tickets sold for that is we think the World Cup is expensive. Wait till you hear this. On the other side, 888-808-1019. Anthony Gallo on the Fan.
Home isn't where the heart is for Cleveland as the Knicks are up 3-0 and have the Cavs facing a win or pack it in scenario. Tonight, will New York complete the sweep and make it back to the finals for the first time since 1999? The latest breaking Knicks news, the biggest Knicks opinions, and the most trusted voices delivering them all live here. Your home for New York sports is 101.9 FM, WFAN.
The all-new 2026 Mazda CX-5 is designed to give you balance of style, advanced technology, and craftsmanship in a family-friendly SUV that delivers exceptional value. Get more with the all-new 2026 Mazda CX-5, the smart choice. Visit your local Mazda dealer or MazdaUSA.com.
At NYU Langone Health, we know there really is no place like home. That's why we get our surgery patients home faster and have fewer readmissions than any other health system. That means once you're home, you won't need to go back for the same procedure. Instead, you can get back to the things you love. And the next time you need something else, we're here. Better health starts with a better health system. Learn more at nyulangonehealth.org.
Welcome to 215 Maple Drive. We just put this property on the market.
Love the crown molding.
Oh, wait until you see the walk-in closets and the bathroom tile.
Does it have Verizon Fios? 100% fiber internet?
No Fios, but it looks like it's got cable. Let's check out the kitchen.
No Fios? Yeah, no thank you.
Don't you want to see the rest? Okay, bye-bye.
Get Verizon Fios, because when you're moving, it's 100% or nothing.
FanDuel is giving you better payouts on same-game parlays all NBA playoffs long. With more ways to build and more value every time you play. You can stack your picks your way for every game, every matchup, and every moment, from spreads to player points to threes and more. Build it all into one same-game parlay and go for bigger payouts. So if you're betting same-game parlays this NBA postseason, bet them on FanDuel. So many more options, better payouts all NBA playoffs long. Head to FanDuel.com/New York to get started today. That's FanDuel.com/New York, an official partner of the NBA. Play your game. We all love the app around here. It has all the betting markets you could possibly want. It's safe and secure, and when you win, you get paid instantly. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of WFAN. 21 and older, physically present in New York. For help with a gambling problem, please call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
La Playa awaits this weekend. Be sure to stock up on ice-cold Corona at Can's Bar and Grill on Long Island. Then sit back, relax, and soak up the good weather. Great vibes and New York basketball. Turn anywhere you enjoy the game into your own beach. La Playa awaits. Must be 21. Relax responsibly.
Success is picking up extra shifts for your family. Now you want to be the boss. Success is getting your foot in the door. Now you want to take the next step. Success looks different to everyone, and University of Maryland Global Campus can help you reach your goals. And there's never been a better time to get started on your future. No application fee if you apply by June 1st. As an accredited state university, UMGC has been transforming lives for over 75 years. With more than 135 undergraduate and graduate degrees and certificates, online and hybrid courses, personalized support, financial resources, and lifetime career services, achieving your dreams is more possible than ever before. Choose the program that's right for your career goals and get started on your next success. No application fee if you apply by June 1st. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Come visit the engagement experts at London Jewelers at any one of their 6 locations.
The U.S. Treasury quietly released its official financial report for 2025. It appears by its own numbers, the U.S. government seems insolvent. It's reported that the Treasury shows about $6 trillion in assets and over $47 trillion in liabilities. Add it all up, and it looks like the U.S. owes more than $130 trillion it doesn't have. If that were a family, they'd earn $52,000 a year, spend $73,000, and already be more than $1 million underwater. Any accountant would call that insolvent. So how does the government fix this? It can print money, which erodes your purchasing power, it can raise taxes, or it can cut benefits. And none of those can help to protect you. That's why many people who have something to lose move part of their savings into physical gold and silver, assets that can't be printed, defaulted on, or voted away. Call Monetary Gold at 877-NOW-GOLD for their complimentary gold and silver guide and a no-pressure conversation. That's 877-NOW-GOLD. Call Monetary Gold now at 877-NOW-GOLD. Do it before the next headline, not after. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional. Hey, this is Sal Licata. Right now is the time to make sure that your current cooling system is ready for hot weather. You don't want it to fail when it's 90 degrees out, and if it's over 15 years old, you're wasting your money. Get a new high-efficiency AC system right now from my friends at Edison Heating and Cooling. They are New Jersey's air conditioning experts and have been for decades. Take it from me. These guys have done plenty of work on my house. You'll save money and stay cooler. Contact them now at EdisonHVAC.com. That's EdisonHVAC.com.
Get the scuttlebutt on your favorite team, the Fan, on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn apps.
Oh, yes, sir. We are back. Anthony Gallo on the Fan. I got you for another half hour until the great Emmanuel Barbari has got you covered at 1 o'clock leading into Yankees baseball. So I'm trying to look this up, but I don't know if you guys saw the story. I saw Steve Popper put this out, I think it was yesterday. Knicks are up 3-0. It feels like it is inevitable. Tonight they'll win. They'll get to the finals. And they're going to be the road team no matter what. Game 3, to get 2 courtside tickets, is listed at $200. And so whatever, it's like 3, so 2, my math is horrible, $559,000 for 2 courtside tickets at MSG. Outrageous. And I think Darren Rovell said that they have already sold multiple tickets. So if you're thinking of going, which, somebody I, thought I might be able to sneak a ticket. Last time the Knicks were in the finals, from Darren Rovell, MSG had 90 courtside seats. This year, 704, 7 rows on each side. Obviously, if you've ever been to the Garden and had the pleasure of sitting there, it's its own section. But he had, let me see where the exact tweet was, where he said he had confirmed there were sales for the Knicks game, and it doesn't look like it's popping up. But anyway, that is a crazy number. Okay, so here it is. He said, I have confirmed the sale, $279,000 each for the 2 seats. Crazy. And, I'm trying to look it up right now to get the exact, right here, Game 3, let's just see, 2 tickets, with the cheapest ticket being, let's sort it by, let's just bring it down to as low as it can go. The cheapest to get in price right now, it's only listed as this. And if you've seen, the prices have gone down. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals was like $1,000 to get in. And then by game day, it was like $400 to get in. $3,300, $3,303 to sit in section 418 behind the basket. Whew. When I mean behind the basket, up in the upper decks. It's crazy. And not that I was expecting to go, but and there's a tie-in here. The World Cup has been extremely expensive. And when the bid was announced that I could get to, that we're going to be getting the World Cup on home soil, obviously split between us, Mexico, and Canada, North America World Cup. When they announced that, I opened like a smaller savings account, and I was throwing $5, $10 a paycheck in there to save up. And I thought I'd have enough to go to 1 or 2 games, maybe 3 if I got lucky. Nothing crazy. I wanted to see the U.S. play, potentially if Italy made it. But I had saved up. And now it's looking like I'm not going to a game. Unless it's like day of at MetLife, the tickets drop for a random game, I'm not going. So I thought, you know what? Why don't I use that money and go to potentially a clincher at home. If they had gotten the Game 5, that was maybe a potential as a clincher. It'd be cool to be there. If not, I'm like, oh, maybe the finals. And then I looked at the tickets and I'm like, oh, I don't even have enough to go to one of those games. It might be one of those things where I wait till like 750 or 650, 750, whatever tip-off is for Game 3 or Game 4, and, hopefully I get a ticket, south of 600, which I doubt. And that is the way of the secondary market and the ticket broker and all of that. So that's crazy. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Insane. Absolutely insane. And then I hear people talk about it. If you're one of these people, like I know I have cousins and uncles that have gone to the Knicks playoff games when in the 90s, and the tickets were not, even with inflation, they were never close to this. Insane. JR in Somerville texted me, was that Kenny Atkinson calling in as an OKC fan? That's so funny. Maybe it was. New York guy. Kenny Atkinson's thinking about everything, but, the Cavs fans had to coach up there. The Cavs had to coach up their fans. They put out that dopey post on Twitter, new rule round, new rules. And now Kenny Atkinson's talking about analytics and why, they really won 2 or 3 games. So that means you have to win 6 games now. 888-808-1019. But the Knicks are 1 game away from a very expensive NBA Finals. Steve in Rockland, what's going on, Steve?
When you were talking to the very confident OKC fan, the guy who has been the wild card has been Shamet. So they put him in for D, and that guy, when he gets, and they lose him on the other end because they don't think he's getting the ball.
They're not focused on him.
That guy can hit shots.
Yep.
But he plays D as well. He moves his feet. All right. And the Knicks pose. Let's talk about the matchup problems that the Knicks pose for other teams, especially when they have Mitch in the game and they got Cat at the top of the key doing his thing, doing his Svengali thing. No. And I know when OKC, the guy who I have come to despise and respect is that homegrown guy, that dude. He has killed the Knicks. It hasn't been SGA. It's been Holmgren. He sees the Knicks and the ball just goes in the basket. Yeah. And that guy and
he's been very quiet, to say the least, though, Steve, and I appreciate the call. He's been very quiet in the playoffs so far for the Thunder. And not that he was, a guy who was going to put up gaudy numbers, because I think it was, I got it right here. Let me just look it up. Why did I say think? I've saved it from before because I wanted to look it up. He is 17 points, 8.9 rebounds, and about 2 blocks a game. He was second in Defensive Player of the Year voting. He's a great defender. No one's, arguing that. He's a very good player. He did kill the Knicks in the regular season. I'm going to bring up his splits right now. I also think that we've seen at times when he's had to deal with a much better, player, like as far as, I'm not talking about better, just much better than him, but he's 17-6, a little overblown about what he's done against the Knicks in his 4 games in his career. It's going to be a thing, but it's also not that they don't rely offensively on a lot of people on that team outside of SGA. They have guys that step up similar to the Knicks, but they do have Towns and OG. But they don't rely offensively on just one guy after SGA. I mean, Jalen Williams, he's banged up. He's been fighting injuries all season. Is their next best player, in my opinion. But we don't know if he's going to be healthy. We don't know what his status is going to be. He has been a guy that's been, battling injuries all year. He played in games 1 and games 2. He did not play in games 3 or 4. So we don't know what his injury status is. And for the Thunder, they are a team, Chet averages 16 in the postseason. A.J. Mitchell, 15. Caruso, 10. And Caruso had those 2 big games in Game 1 and Game 2. Isaiah Hartenstein, 9. So it's not like Jared McCain is a guy who scares me because he feels like a guy on any given night can put up buckets. But that's where they sit. And ESPN only has A.J. Mitchell right now as an injury designation. I want to get the status of what Jalen Williams is injury-wise. He was out Game 4, obviously. And the Spurs have been without De'Aaron Fox also. So it's tough. And if Mitchell is banged up and Williams is banged up, Chet is not someone I think is going to be able to shoulder the load offensively if the Knicks give SGA problems. And he's also still going to need help, even if that is the case. Again, I still think they are the better team, the Thunder, but that does not mean the Knicks do not have a chance. 888-808-1019. Teddy in Brooklyn. What's going on, Teddy?
Hi. Do you think that who do we want to verse, the up and coming Spurs or as the Knicks or the Thunder, which are the proven champions from last year? Because Wemby looks pretty.
He does. Who do you want to face?
I don't really know. That's why I'm asking you.
Well, I would rather play the Spurs because I think that Wembanyama is going to be tough, but I think that the Knicks can limit the ancillary pieces, the secondary guys on that team, easier than they could with the Thunder.
I can't hear. So, like Wemby, we've proven to beat them in the regular season.
Yes.
Say we haven't proven it.
That's true. It's a little noisy there, bud, so I'm going to let you go. It sounded like they were getting into it there. I can't hear. Great call, dude. I think that right now, I lean towards the Spurs, but I could go back and forth either way. And if anything has told me, and I know you're young, I've seen it my entire life, where we think it's a guarantee that a team is just going to win in the NBA Finals, and then we get a matchup we didn't expect. No one expected the Mavs to compete against the LeBron James, Dwayne Wade Heat, and they ended up winning. The Pistons, it felt like they were going to get steamrolled. I obviously, at the time, was hating on the Lakers, but it felt like a lot of the media felt like the Lakers, Kobe, Shaq, they had old Carl, old Gary Payton. It felt like they were going to steamroll the Pistons, and they were the ones who kind of got steamrolled. We've seen it time and time again. The Raptors beating the Warriors, and I know KD gets hurt. There's so many factors, LeBron James down 3-1 against the Warriors, and they come back, and that didn't really feel like a possibility. So I don't think that it is a gap between any of these 3 teams. I think within the Western Conference, I think they're very close. I still think the Knicks are very close to those 2 teams. I said it all year. I felt like the Knicks were in that the 4 best teams in the NBA all season. And that's not going to change now. And until they lose, it's not going to change for me. I think they can win the title. I'm not saying they're going to be favored. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying they're going to continue their dominance. But they are playing with a confidence. Everyone is firing on all cylinders. I don't want to jinx it, but they're all healthy. Their defense is one of the best in the league, and it has been all year. And it's specifically the last month and a half leading into the postseason and in the postseason has been the best defense in the league. Offensively, for the last 2 years, they've been a top 4 team. This is the time. And there's no next year. There is no saying, well, maybe they just get to the finals this year and next year. We're not thinking about next year. We're thinking about right now. 888-808-1019. Before I go back to the calls, another thing, too, which is funny to look at, I think it is the last, let's look it up, Eastern Conference Finals history. I think it's the last 4 Eastern Conference Finals leading into this year. The team that lost the next year made the NBA Finals. I'm going to bring it up right now. So, here we go. So, starting in 2022, the Celtics beat the Heat. The next year, the Heat beat the Celtics. The year after that, the Celtics beat the Pacers. Last year, the Pacers beat the Knicks. And then this year, the Knicks, barring something catastrophic, will beat the Cavs. So that'll be 4 straight years where the team that lost the Eastern Conference Finals the next year went to the NBA Finals. I thought that was interesting. It was a narrative coming into it, but I thought that was very interesting. 888-808-1019. And even if you go back a little further, beyond that, it was the team that lost the Eastern Conference Finals every other year. The Bucks lost to the Raptors, then 2 years later went to the finals, and then the Celtics lost to the Heat, and 2 years later went to the not as interesting, went to the finals. 888-808-1019. Mark in Oceanside. What's up, Mark?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm very well. The last time I spoke to you, we had a little debate.
Uh-huh.
It was early in the season, and I said the Mets are in deep trouble until David Stearns is moved out.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I had a debate, and now I'm coming back to you again 40 games later and telling you this man has done more destruction of this franchise. I am a diehard Met fan. I was there in 69 and 86 and other years as well. And I've watched this team. They are unwatchable, my friend. They're so bad, it's just hard to even watch. Usually I go to 8 or 10 games a year. I have tickets for one game. That'll be it.
Mm-hmm.
This man does not know what he's doing. I don't care what he did in Milwaukee. It means nothing to me. You see what he's brought in. Polanco, awful. I mean, Semyon,
there's no defending it. There is no defending it. It's been a disaster, Mark. It has been a disaster. And they're not fixing it right now. They're not. Firing him is just purgatory until we get to the offseason, and then who do they bring in? And then after that, it's not getting better anytime soon. And I'm not saying that's a reason not to fire him. I'm just saying what he has done has put us in a situation that it is not getting better. Outside of kids coming up and absolutely, performing at a high level, they are not getting better anytime soon.
We know he doesn't know what he's doing, obviously. I mean, the Frankie Montas move was the one that was the tell to me. The whole world knew that Frankie Montas, on his best day, is a number 5 starter. And he's basically at the very bottom. He brought him in. I mean, other guys, Marcus Semyon was a tremendous ball player years ago. He's washed up. If you look at his numbers 5 years ago, he's a terrific player. You can see the guy is just cooked.
Well, I mean, he's been the Mets' best hitter with runners at scoring position, though. It might be the only good thing that they have on the team right now.
Look at his numbers. He's got 18 RBIs in 53 games.
Mark, I don't know what to tell you, dude. It is what it is. Like they are what they are now at this point. Like
they need to fix the problem, or the problem will continue.
So you're right, though, but it's not changing anything. They are stuck. It's not changing anything, and they'll bring in another GM, and he'll suck, and they'll fire him too. This was the guy, and we already know what's going to happen. Stearns is going to leave. The Red Sox will hire him, or they get rid of Braslow, whoever the hell their GM is. Somebody's going to hire him, and he's going to do a great job. And it's going to be another person that we look at as, here we go. And maybe we get lucky and, 4 years after he's fired, like Omar Minaya, where Sandy Alderson did nothing and basically rode a team of Omar Minaya players to outside of the Cespedes trade, which he didn't want to make, to the World Series. Maybe we'll get lucky. I doubt it. And here's my biggest problem. Let's say they ran it back with Alonso and Nimmo and Diaz. They're probably in the same situation, maybe 3 games better. That is even more of an indictment that I can't find a way that this could have been better because Stearns has done such a bad job. Even if he brought the guys back we wanted back, I don't see this team being good because he made such a terrible roster. They went from being a team that was 2 wins away from going to the World Series and regressed. They started off red hot last year. They were good. Then June 13th, what was it? Rolled around, Senga gets hurt, and it was over. And we loved the Soto move. And there was part of me in the offseason, and I said it on air here, that it cannot just be Soto or bust. And part of my fear was they were going to put all their eggs in the Soto basket and not get better. And guess what? The Yankees didn't put all their eggs. They tried to. Listen, they got beat by the Mets in that situation. They tried to, but when the Yankees got to spend that money and spread it around, look at what they built. And Yankee fans will call in and tell you they're not that good enough. They're a World Series contender. That's what they are. There's no doubt they're going to be playing deep into October. Where the Mets, it feels like, are going to limp into August. And we're going to have to struggle to turn on SNY and Gary, Keith, and Ron. Or tune into Howie. And Howie, who's in his last year and has to deal with this crap. I don't blame him for bailing to go see Bruce Springsteen. I don't. Or Paul McCartney, whoever it was. And this is what we're going to have with him. It's embarrassing. And Tuesday, we're going to get a press conference tomorrow or Wednesday from Stearns, because I think he meets every 2 weeks or whatever it is. Maybe we won't hear from him. It's going to be the same crap. I still believe we're good enough to win. You know, guys have performed. Yes, but why? What is the answer there? It's increasingly frustrating. You're right. June 13th. That was the day. Someone else commented Stearns looked good in 2024. He did. He also had a roster of guys that were already there. You know, Diaz was lights out. You know, Alonso didn't pick it up until the playoffs, but Lindor played like an MVP. We almost didn't make the playoffs. We forget that. It took a win against the Braves on the last day of the season to get into the postseason. And who were the ones that did it? Nimmo and Lindor. And it's funny because he couldn't even piggyback on his success. We let Jose Quintana leave because you wanted to decide, you were so hell-bent on overpaying for for Montas. And I want to be fair, I wanted Minaya back. But you let Quintana leave, and last year you won 11 games. And part of my belief in Stearns and me holding out hope that maybe he's got a clue is because in Houston, when he was a part of that front office, he built a sustained winner. And in Milwaukee, when he was a part of that front office, look at what they've built. Because a lot of those stars on that team are guys he brought in, young players he brought in. But it doesn't work. And you can't dip your toes in both waters. You can't operate on a budget, but also blow your money on 3 players. Think of the contracts he's handed out. Soto, which again, we're not killing him for that, but he's paid all that money to Soto, all this money to Bo Bichette, all this money to Montas, all this money to Devin Williams. And I know it's a shorter-term deal, and it only comes out to be about, you know, whatever it is, $20 million a year. It's embarrassing. But enough of that. I got a little bit of time left with you. The Knicks are 1 game away from the NBA Finals. Emmanuel Barbari is up next. He'll get you ready for that. And the Yankee game coming up later today. Have a great Memorial Day. Thank you to everyone who served this country and for those who are not with us anymore. And let's hope tonight's Knicks victory can uplift everyone's spirits, specifically Met fans. Shout out to Ray Jarvis. Shout out to Jack Carty as they've been holding it down on the other side of the glass. I will be back next week hosting solo Saturday night. Listen to me make a fool of myself during the wheel game this week on The Carton Show. Hit me up on X at PicoDay_Gallo or just search Anthony Gallo. Hit me up on X, on IG at PicoDayGallo24. Let's go Knicks. Let's go Knicks.